All right, we are
Anyway.
preparing to live stream the meeting here.
Okay.
Go and hit your
Uh-oh.
record button, Cat.
Uh-oh. All right, I watch my language.
All right. According to this, meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. I'm gonna.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I'm Cantonese Cat here again together with, the usual. We got the Tesla tracker and we got the great Mattsby. And I don't know, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm trying to wake up here a little bit. And I think tracker is camera shy today. Or or mic shy today. So we're gonna have maybe Matt, you want to start us off? We can talk about the indexes, we can talk about some of the major stocks and then maybe talk about some of the major crypto and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let me share. So I guess we'll start. Where do you want to start? QQQ maybe, since that had a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
negative
we can
price.
talk about the indexes first. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Let me just share my screen here. Oh, you gotta enable participant sharing
Oh,
there
I'm so
for
sorry.
tracker.
We're kind of
I
behind on
know.
the ball here.
It's okay. We
Let's see.
we
Usually
don't
it's already
have
done. All right.
yeah,
Have a
apparently
tryout.
we don't have the tools today, but yeah, that's okay.
All right. So I have my screen pulled up here, and essentially what we saw is just oh, this is the monthly chart. Let me go back to the weekly chart first. Essentially, what we saw is just like a peak up here, and then there's kind of like an evening star pattern right up here, and then it just hit the conversion line and didn't stop. And so essentially now it's even closed a week below the baseline, and that was really the first time since really right here in October of 2023. So it's looking like it's going to go lower. Like, just be prepared for that. And I think it's going to at least like retest this bottom arc. It really hasn't done that yet. And that would sit around like maybe 440 or so. But I think what is best to do now is to switch to the monthly indicator just to see where that conversion line sits. And that sits really at 443. So that is kind of around that 440 zone. So it's possible next week just to wick through it quite a bit, and we'll see where it ends up. But yeah, essentially my target is going to be back at that green arc, just a successful back test and nothing too scary. And I think even if it does lose that, I mean, there's still 26 days left in the month. Even if it does lose that conversion line for the month, there's still a lot of time to close back above it and continue higher for the remainder of the year. So we'll see. But it hasn't really closed a candle below that since what, right here, February of 2023. So that's like a year and a half almost, right? So that's quite a long time that it hasn't closed below it. So it could be time to go test lower levels. It's just a matter of time. So we'll see if this month can hold that 443 level on a monthly candle close or not.
Right. It could do like one of those scary like wick throughs, but then still close the candle above the line.
It could. I mean, nothing is bearish about this chart at all on the monthly time frame. Um, it looks like it's just doing a normal back test so far. But like if that month does close in the middle of like my arc here, then that would probably go back and retest the bottom arc there in the low 400s. And that would be a possibility if that conversion line broke, right? So we'll have to keep an eye on that 443 level for the rest of the month to see where it closes.
Very nice. What else you got for
Mm.
us?
You got any comments to add, Kat, to that?
I mean, I would say if you want to, I mean, I can talk separately too after you go for all the major indexes, but I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty straightforward thing. I'm seeing the same thing, and also if you look at like if you want to go and put like the monthly Super Ichi, like it basically closed right at the conversion. So it's getting a lot more confluence is where it's at right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not really too concerned. I mean, initially it was just overextended, and that's kind of where we're seeing where we're expecting to go. We're
Yeah.
close, I feel.
Yeah, I think
Like,
we're close to, and I don't think, I mean, like I said, there's still 26 days left in that month, so anything is possible. Like there could be a really big scare, and then it could just rebound the rest of the month. So we'll see. But I think no matter what, based off of that weekly close that we had, going back to the weekly chart, it does, since it closed below the baseline for the first time, it's probably going to go lower, right? And it didn't even really retest this previous all-time highs yet. I mean, it kind of did. It wicked there a little bit, but I think it's going to go a little bit deeper than that. So my target is like maybe 440, 438 or so, maybe around there.
I like me a good test back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a healthy thing too, right? It's really healthy. So so far, whoever's screaming like panic, I just don't see it yet. It's just a normal breakout and back test of a level to go continue higher so far, right? That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you want to talk about who's screaming panic? No, I'm just
I won't name any names, but yeah. But yeah, I'll continue on. Instead of the SPY, I'm just
Yeah.
going to do the SPX because I like this formation that I'm looking at here on the monthly chart. I'll start there just because I built this GAN on the monthly chart and it hit the resistance perfectly last month. And I was mentioning this on my X last month as well, saying it's at resistance. So it's just normal what we're seeing. Like it's a sell-off, right? And it was only at 3%. I mean, only, I guess 3% for an SPX is kind of a big deal for a week, but I think it's still fine, right? It's just went up and hit resistance on a monthly basis. Now the conversion line sits at 5108. Will it get there? Let's take a look at the weekly indicators. And that is basically at the baseline, and it kind of hit there last week. So this is still fine as well. But if the QQQ goes lower, this is probably going to go lower too, and maybe back test that arc as support too. But actually, we can't really use that arc because I built it on the monthly chart there. So we'll have to disregard it, right? The next level would sit around the 4,800. So I would not expect that to happen. So let me just go back to the weekly chart here. Yeah, so we'll have to disregard this because when you change timeframes, the GAN just gets skewed a little bit. So we'll just ignore that for right now. But yeah, I mean, SPX, it did a normal thing, just retest the baseline. And if we put on some SMAs down there, they're still way down there. Like the 50 week is still at 4,900. So if that baseline did get broken, I think 4,900 could become a possibility, which in turn maybe might make 4,800 to backtest this previous high possible as well. Right.
Yes.
Or maybe right here. Yeah, 4,800 to backtest that previous high.
I like that. I like if we have to lose the baseline, then I like that a lot better.
Yeah. So it just depends on QQQ, I guess, but we'll see.
And look, it's almost the level of the moving average 50.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 4,900, 4,800. So there is some confluence right there around those numbers below 5,000. So, but if that did happen, that would really cause a lot of panic, I think, because right now it's at 53.46. And if it did drop to 4,800, that would scare a lot of people. But it would only be a back test of the previous all-time high back here in 2022. So nothing too scary on a high time frame basis.
It's kind of weird that looks like the SPY or the SPX looks a little bit more overextended than the QQQ. It also almost looks like QQ has already gone through a lot more correction than SPY. It's
It
a little
does.
bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. All right, so let's continue here. So we'll go to what, IWM next?
Yes, Fox.
Okay. There's lots of lines here. Let me
What
just
a
clean that up a
pretty
little bit.
GAN chart. Just love looking
Yeah,
at
so
that chart.
this is on a monthly basis, and essentially, I pointed out last month, it closed above that 3.618, and that's the Fibonacci from the financial crisis high back there. And you can see that it did close above, and that's like the first time since back here in like the 2021s, really. And what we're seeing now is just a back test of this previous range before it broke out. And I don't see anything really scary about that, except like just a successful back test so far, right? If it comes down back to the blue level, that's still really not that scary because that's just 200 again. That's still the level before it broke out, just that range. And it's still above my 45-degree angle. It's still above that blue level. And it's just so on and so forth. And the Ichimoku here, that conversion line for the monthly indicator does sit at 203.42 and hasn't gotten there yet. But if we put on the weekly chart, what can we see? We can see that it just closed a little bit below the baseline, which is kind of scary. Maybe it'll continue lower, but still, there's still lots of support below. If it just does continue a little bit lower, it's going to find support in these areas here. And I believe there's less room to panic, in my opinion, with the IWM compared to the SPY and the QQQ. They look like they could fall more just because they're overextended more, and this one is not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Building a lovely
So I'll
band.
let somebody else take over. That's basically what I see. I see less panic in the IWM and a little bit more panic in the SPY and QQQ.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk. Tracker, do you have your index fund stuff? I mean, I can take over. It depends on if you want to do it.
You go ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and share my my screen here. La 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 la. You guys see mine right now? Let me know.
You got to kick me off, or are you allowed to kick me off?
I don't know.
There,
Oh
I
yeah,
can see it.
yeah. Okay, you kicked me off.
Yeah, now you can see my screen. Yeah, I mean, just real quick. I mean, I think the thing about Matt and I is like over the last few months or so, we've gotten closer and closer together in terms of our like thinking, which I'm not sure is a good thing or not.
Yeah, maybe it's too much confirmation bias. We need to
I
start
feel
disagreeing.
I feel like we basically are starting to look at like I try to convince you to look at more like a monthly time frame, try to get you these more like bullish bands, and you're also basically, you know, you also taught me a lot too, so I don't know. But I'm going to show you what I think. First of all, you can go to QQQ. There are a lot of things I'm seeing that you're also seeing. You know, I think there are a lot of confluence in terms of where things are right now, which is going to be in the monthly time frame. You have a very, very quickly rising Tenkan or conversion line. And in a bull market, that's exactly what it's supposed to do, is to use a rising Tenkan, rising conversion line to push price up higher whenever things just get a little bit too far away from the Tenkan. You usually either have price going down, correct through price, or you have correction through time, you know. And right now, I think we might have a little bit of combination of both. If anything, I think like QQ is actually hitting some of the pretty major support zone that SPY is yet a little bit, you know, way too far away from. So I actually feel more comfortable to be in QQQ right now because of that particular reason. Which I think basically confirms what you're saying too. Now, in addition to Ichimoku Cloud, you also look at the Tsukiichi Cloud, which basically is like a very similar way to look at, you know, look at it, but this incorporates more of like super trend. You can see that basically QQQ so far in just 2 days, it like went all the way from up here to like get basically touch the conversion line here on the Tsukiichi almost perfectly, you know. And just look at the previous touch right there, you know, that was the bottom over here back in April. And back over here in October 2023, we ran through that down a little bit, but we actually ended up touching the Tsukiichi cloud, right? So, and then before that, we didn't really have the Tenkan as support. We were trying to flip it from resistance over here throughout the entire 2022 back into support, right? And we flipped it back into support, and ever since then, we've just been going up, and we've just been riding up the Tsukiichi monthly Tenkan here.
Yeah, and it's still flat too. The Tenkan is still flat.
Yeah, so
It's
you know,
not sloping down or
Tsukiichi.
anything.
Yeah, the Tsukiichi Tenkan tends to be flat or up. Like it doesn't. It's not as volatile, I guess, compared to like the regular Ichimoku. You know, but right now it looks like we're finding support over here, find support over here, find support over here. It's still a bull market. You know, so I don't know like if anybody said, oh, something like I'm not really seeing any warning sign that this is like a bear market questions. Just look at the past bull market here. Same thing from all the way from like 2020 all the way to 2021 or like, you know, I guess beginning of 2022. It's basically just riding the Tenkan up, you know, like it's a bull market. That's what it's supposed to do. What about the bull market before that? I guess from like 2016 all the way to, you know, like 2018, same thing. It's just ride the entire Tenkan up. Whenever it starts to really exhaust, like it is, you know, it falls underneath the Tenkan, and then, you know, and then eventually it's still keep on going up anyway, you know. So this is a bull market, and this is what bull market is supposed to do, right? And right now we've simply just touched back at the Tsukiichi Tenkan. So maybe it corrects down a little bit, like Matt said. Maybe it kind of touches the back test the arc underneath below. You know, I can totally see that, but so far I think we've already kind of hit some of the pretty critical support here. So I really cannot be that bearish on QQQ. Like there's nothing. This is still a bullish chart. I don't know if anybody says that this is like a bearish chart or like turning bearish, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, I just don't know.
Well, people are listening to the narratives more than the charts right now, and yeah, the narratives are really, really negative right now.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is, right? And I have like a voice.
Well, it's because of the unemployment. It was like basically a recession indicator based off of past events, right? That's the reason why.
Yeah, but that's also lagging, you know. Like it's always like we've survived so many things over the last 5 years. Like if you really want me to talk about macroeconomics, I can talk about it on the
Yeah,
index here too. You know, we've survived so much. You're talking about we've survived what like the trade conflict, you know, like basically I mean, the Chinese stock market has just been tanking ever since like 2018, 2019, whenever Trump
yeah,
started having tariffs. But we survived that. We survived the pandemic where the entire economy was shut down. You know,
yeah.
like there's so much uncertainty. We don't even know
Well,
what the heck is going on.
a-
Like,
and sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead. You're gonna say something.
No, yeah, my rebuttal to them is essentially like the IWM and crypto and everything like growth, the ARKK, they've already been in a recession for the past couple of years, and like
Yeah.
nobody is really talking about how they're in a recession and they're underperforming, and it's proof with the charts, right?
Yeah.
Like it's proof that IWM never even broke all-time highs. What does that indicate? They've been in a recession this whole time, basically. Like Kathy Wood is saying, it's like a rolling recession, and now
Yeah.
maybe like it's time for the large caps to just underperform while the smaller ones outperform. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. A lot of things are already priced. Like nobody called 2022 a recession. Like the government wouldn't call it recession. And I think that a lot of things have already been priced in. I agree with you. You know, like, I mean, we've gone
Yeah.
through crazy inflation, like the highest inflation we've seen in a lot of people's lifetime. We've gone through the quickest rate hike, you know, a lot of people have seen like in their lifetime. So a lot of things have already gone through, and right now we came out of it, and right now it's a bull trend on the QQQ. I can talk about the SPY. The SPY looks a little bit more overextended. Um, you know, and there's a potential for SPY to correct a little bit further down. I can totally see. I don't think it necessarily have to hit like the conversion line over here, which is around like 510, but I can totally see it correcting down a little bit further, maybe on, you know, maybe back down here. But we did get really, really close to the weekly kitchen or the baseline, you know, around like 527.7, somewhere around here. We got really close to it. So if you tell me that the correction is over, I believe you, you know. We also have a lot of people that are really scared at like the three black crows or whatever, you know, whenever you have three consecutive candles going down, like everybody's like, oh, three black crows. I remember people saying that over here back in April, you know, three black crows going to go down a lot further, and it didn't, you know. And then like over here, this is a bear market. So the three back rows actually did eventually work out. But this is a bull market. So this might end up just having like three black crow corrections on a weekly. And you know, yeah, so I don't know. Like here, this definitely like all these things could work out, right? But for like a regular bull market, you can have like these three candles over here, these three candles over here, and it doesn't really mean anything in the longer term, you know. So I don't know about like all these conventional wisdom. I don't know about these narratives. We talked we before back here in like October 2023 or like May of 2023 or March of 2023, you're talking about like banks closing down, you talk about the whole financial system collapsing. And right now people are worried about like rates dropping, worried about like recession when global liquidity is like going up. Anyway, that's a totally different story, different time. I guess what I'm trying to say is I would not be surprised if we end up you know being we have corrected enough, and that was it. IWM, just like you said, on the weekly, maybe a little bit further to go. On the monthly, I still think that this katana is going to work out. Yeah, I still think that this is
Ta-da!
yeah, and I still think this might just be like an inside candle. You know, it's like the trend is going up, and the inside candle is basically just consolidation before price going up. It was a little bit overextended. There was a potential for things to continue to get overextended like it did over here, you know, like it did over here, and then like it did over here. You know, it can potentially continue to like get overextended. But it's actually healthy for it to come down. I was happy to buy more TNA just this like past the end of past week. I was happy to just keep loading on TNA as much as I can. Because look at how nice the Tenkan is rising up, how nice separation between Tenkan
Yeah.
and on the monthly. It just looks like a beautiful bull trend just unfolding. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like if I'm not buying, like I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm doing technical analysis
And
for.
it's really interesting too. Like they closed the candle really, really bullish for the month too. And now they have a whole month just to play around with it, just to push price down and do whatever they want to maybe then just close back above at the end of the month above levels too. It's just really, really intriguing how the month closed so bullish and then this happened, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and then
It's
people are talking about how, oh, there's a bearish engulfing candle that's going to go down a lot lower. Like, yeah, potentially bearish engulfing candle could work out, but it doesn't always have to. You know, I'm trying to find like some examples. I mean, this is a bear market, right? But during a bull market, I'm trying to find some example of like some bearish engulfing candles that like really, really amount to nothing.
yeah, there kind
Um,
of was one right there to the left of your cursor. Yeah.
the Yeah, like yeah, this one over
Yeah.
here, like, it doesn't really mean
Yeah.
anything, right? This is like beginning of a
Yeah.
very powerful bull market, and it's just end up, a little bit of a correction.
But it did the same thing. They closed the month really, really positively there and then they just
Yeah,
pushed it down. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So I'm not really that worried. Like if you look at the weekly chart just overall, like how can you be bearish on this structure? I don't even need to use any like fancy indicators. How can you be bearish on the structure? Right? The entire accumulation zone over here, breakout, right? On high volume, right? We have a little bit of a high volume back test this past week, yes, but overall it's still a back test of this entire zone over here has been going on since January 2021. Like
yeah.
it's like a very, very nice back test here on the horizontal zone. So I don't know why people are that worried about it. I'm happy to buy here. I mean, this is a really, really good spot to buy to me. I do have a couple of like other thing to say. Like I still think that small caps probably gonna keep outperforming large caps moving forward. I think it's just getting a little bit of a snag, if you will. If you talk about the IWM over SPY chart, this is a weekly chart. Um, hey Dan, hey Vantage, hey
I
everybody.
was somebody's asking about SMH too. Just
Yeah, we
you
can
can
talk a
go
little bit
after
more
that.
about that too. Hey, yeah, we can talk about a little bit that. But like if you look at IWM over SPY chart, it looks like it wants to go for a little bit of a trend change. I mean, it's still a bearish trend per se, if you look at the IWM over SPY, but it looks like it's finally like challenging the cloud over here, right? It hasn't really challenged the cloud really since what, like more than like a year and a half ago, right? So it looks like we're trying to potentially challenge the cloud here on the weekly here. It's just simply got rejected over here. Like there are three really, really bullish candles of IWM over SPY. So and also have a little bit of a katana over here too, for the IWM over SPY. For those people who don't know what I mean by that, like basically if Tenkan and Kijun consolidates together, it just means that if you have a trend change, it could be very powerful, because it's been consolidating very, very long for a very long time, and you have some recent volatility that has happened to cause both of these to be really close together. That's basically means that maybe a bigger move is to come. So I still think that IWM is still very bullish over SPY. If you look at the monthly, I can see it maybe challenging back like a Tenkan over here too. Um, but you just have such a vicious downtrend, and you've just finally are starting to play out this bullish divergence over here on the monthly. Like how you have the bearish divergence over here when IWM was outperforming SPY back in like all the way from the beginning of the chart here, like 2000 all the way to like 2011, you have a bearish divergence over here, and the next thing you know, just roll over here for like 14, 15 years. And now you're actually starting to have a bullish divergence where the ratio has gone down, but the RSI is going up. So I wonder whether or not this is like the start of something that is greater. I mean, obviously it's still a bear trend, it can still go down further, but like based on what I'm seeing, and based on what I'm seeing here with like yields and things like that, I just think that it's time for it to like run here. QQQ over SPY, I see something very interesting. It is breaking down here a little bit, but it was just out like the QQQ is just outperforming SPY for so much it's just basically just kind of cooling down. It does look a little bit like a Wyckoff distribution here, doesn't it? If you believe in that kind of stuff, but it does look like it's kind of like roll over here a little bit. So, but regardless, like this is still a bull trend of QQQ over SPY. And I think if anything, QQQ is kind of, hitting some, pretty important support here. So I'm not sure. I'm actually wondering if there's like some bullish continuation here. If you just look at the Bollinger Band on the monthly here, you see like a very, very nice rising 20-month moving average just kind of pushing up, right? So I'm kind of wondering whether or not we're just kind of consolidating sideways over here. and then like kind of like over here, during that bull market, where it just needs to kind of correct against SPY, let SPY kind of catch up. But now I think QQQ might be at a good spot for it to keep running. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I can talk about a little bit more like the macroeconomics and I relinquish control because I feel like I'm talking a little bit too long already.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, but I was talking about yields topping really since October 2023. You know why yields top in October 2023? Both the 2-year and the 10-year. You know why that is? You know, it's because the US liquidity has basically the US M2 money supply is basically bottom here October 2023. Like there's none of these things are coincidence. I don't care what this random guy that like walks up the street and like everybody's paying attention to him called Jerome Powell. I don't care about what he says. Like he does nothing. The Fed does nothing except for just talk and like follow market conditions and they're data dependent. Well, this is the kind of data that they're looking at. Like they're looking at what the real market conditions say. They're looking, oh, the real rates top in October 2023. Okay, we can manipulate the markets here a little bit by setting different Fed chairs, do like some daily manipulation to help our friends, like that. I don't really care about what they say. It looks like the whole trend over here was exhausted. Just looking at 20-month moving average, it looked like it was just rolling over. And you know that rate's going to drop quick because you have a very tight Bollinger Band squeeze here. I talked about this kind of stuff before, right? 2-year actually looks a lot more bearish compared to 10-year. 10-year actually still looks like there might still be a little bit of life going on for it. And you're about to have an inverted yield curve that's coming like pretty soon, right? All of these are basically rolling over, just like how the 2-year was rolling over. This looks like a bird with like two big giant testicles. I'm going to change that to a regular. There you go. Okay. This looks better. So basically you have a Bollinger Band squeeze over here, kind of like here, right? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a dead Cantonese bounce on the 2-year yield because we're hitting a lower Bollinger Band. I wouldn't be surprised by that. So everybody's going to freak out. Maybe yield's going back up again, inflation, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the Fed's like reversing the course too late. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm just going to hit my head with my paw. And I'm just going to be like, guys, like, shut up. Anyway, I'm a little bit bitter.
Can you pull up the TLT as well?
Absolutely.
On the monthly chart?
Yeah, so basically I had several posts and I reposted them as well. I basically called the bottom of TLT around October 2023. And that's basically when the US liquidity, this looks like a big giant diamond that broke out, by the way. But this basically, I called the bottom. The reason why I called the bottom, and I'm not here to tell you like how great it is. I'm just here to tell you like technical analysis works.
You already know.
I suck actually. Like I'm not very good. But I'm just here to tell you why I think the way I did. I thought October 2023 was the bottom of TLT because you have a monthly bullish divergence where it just kind of gone down, but RSI gone up. You see these kind of behavior whenever something like bottoms. You have to, you always trying to guess where something bottom, but one confirmation you might have is if you have like a monthly bullish divergence. Like that really tells you the things at bottom, especially when the price goes back and hit the lower Bollinger Band. That really gives you a lot of confidence that, hey, price gone down, RSI gone up, and it's found pretty good support here in lower Bollinger Band. It might bottom. It's the same thing happened relatively-ish, for like the ARK fund, I thought that price, well, I guess the Bollinger Band is not as helpful, but I thought that price was, what was that? Anyway, okay, I'll shut up. Actually, I didn't really see that here. I don't remember. But I was trying to say like the TLT has bottomed because of that. And then there's also another post that I made. I thought that price might bottom over here because I really do think that I think that was more looking like the weekly, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I see another bullish divergence over here around like September, October 2023.
So you think it's going to keep breaking higher?
I think it's going to keep breaking higher. Like it looks like, and again, it's hitting the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly, and it's getting a little bit into like some bearish divergence here, but it looks good. Like how can I be bearish looking at this chart? Like it's reclaimed the 20-month moving average. 20 moving average is crawling, is flattening, kind of like how it did over here. This is basically how price bottoms and trying to correct and trying to push up higher. You have to wait consolidating sideways. You have to wait for these longer term moving average to flatten out. And if you also look at the Ichimoku, it reclaimed the tank in here, right? They reclaimed the
Yeah.
conversion line over here.
But the
It's pointing up.
baseline, yeah, but the baseline might be a good resistance because that also lines up with almost the previous high as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, I made a post about, yeah, you're gonna hit some resistance here, but that's not surprising because if you look at the bull in Japan,
But don't you
and
think that'll
yeah.
be bad for markets if the TLT continues to rise, though?
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Why does it matter in terms of what the market does in terms of yields, right?
Because of narratives.
Exactly. So yields are dropping like crazy. Do I think TOT is going to hit resistance soon? Yeah. I mean, just look at yields. Like they're way outside the low Bollinger Band. Like all of these things are like way too far stretched, and you're going to have a balance, and people are going to have like narratives trying to justify for that. I just look at what's happening. Everybody says that IWM is rate sensitive. Well, rates dropping, rates tanking, IWM's tanking. Like short term, none of this matters. They're gonna confuse the heck out of you, all this kind of narratives. None of that really matters, but longer term matters more, right? Longer term, US liquidity is going up. There's no disputing that, right? Longer term yields are going down. So that basically tells you that there is a lot more, easier access to capital. Long term, looking at the big large caps, basically they're just doing what they need to do. They're correcting after like a massive breakout. They basically just hitting like the breakout zone over here. Like this basically like a back test of a previous resistance here in support, right? And IWM basically doing a little bit of a back test of resistance from previous support, right? Like none of these things are scary. I don't know what they're talking about. I guess I can relinquish control, but
You can show your SMH chart.
yeah, SMH chart is still stuck in range. I mean, I just thought that it
Yeah.
let me pull back here on the logarithmic chart. So everything looks a lot more calm. You look at the log. It simply just hit you look at Fibonacci, it hit from like the previous cycle high to cycle low. It hit 2.618, which is a very important psychological Fibonacci extension level. Got rejected coming back down, could hit 206 possible. And that would still be just like another back test of this, breakout zone over here. Um, like I'm not, this is still a bull trend. Like I don't think it's necessarily going to have to come all the way down to like the 20-month moving average, but you still have like plenty of support underneath. You look at like the Ichimoku, I think it also closed, not closed the month, but like 2 days into the month, you just basically touch a rising tension over here. So that's another level of support that you're seeing. Um,
Yeah.
like I just think like if you look at the weekly here, if you look at weekly, it does seem like you're losing a lot of support and starting to kind of roll over. So if you're interested in like looking at that kind of time frame, then yeah, like be scared because it can go down further. But some of the important, support zone would be like 206, and you can potentially hit the low Bollinger Band, I guess. You can potentially hit the cloud down here, but before you get down there, maybe it just kind of goes sideways here a little bit, and maybe it hits the Subici cloud over here. What I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is that you still have like a lot of supports on the weekly. I'm not really that like frightened on a higher time frame, but on a shorter time frame, if you're a weekly trader, yeah, it might be a little bit further down to go. That's
Yeah,
possible. Yeah,
my GAN has a lot of confluence with the that fib level for
yeah,
the low 200s.
yeah. I'm gonna relinquish control. Like if you want to show again, and we'll let tracker
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. Yeah, I'll just show him real quick and then I'll let Tracker take over.
yeah. I feel like I talked for too long. I'm sorry, guys.
No, no,
No, but this is
we love
this is
hearing you guys
important.
talk.
Yeah, it's very important too because what's happening right now, there's a lot of narratives to be bearish, but I think the charts are telling the story, and this is one example of the SMH, right? I didn't really share this on X. I mean, I guess I should have. It hit resistance, right? Right here. It hit that blue level, like from the orange level right here, which was an important level. It hit the blue level. So obvious what's going to happen next is probably going to get rejected. And that's exactly what happened. And the confluence is going back to my 45-degree angle and the lower blue arc there and the low 200s right there. So I believe that is going to get hit. I strongly believe that because it did back test it once. I think it'll do it again before it goes higher. So I think that's going to be the pain. And that coincides with your fib extension level too. So I think that is going to be maybe a magnet for price. And you can even see right here, this blue angle, it even came back down right here to retest that blue angle. So going back to retest of 45 would be no big deal, right? So would people freak out still more? Yeah, probably, but that's only really maybe what 7-8%, and last week was 9% alone. So it's not too much more downside in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you want to short NVIDIA? I mean, like that's
Well, NVIDIA, I mean, we can talk about that later, but NVIDIA held support so nice. So nice.
yeah,
But
it did. Yeah, it's a
uh
nice
we'll
chart.
let Tracker talk there because we took up most of the time. So
No,
go
no,
ahead,
I
Tracker.
love you guys talking. I
Tracker,
don't have a lot to say. I mean, I'll go ahead and let's see. Let's bring in
the
mine.
Tesla tracker. And another thing I forgot to mention, there's um, a nice hidden bullish divergence on the weekly for SMH. So you're having like some pretty nice cool down for SMH to allow price to go up higher over time. Like that's what's been happening. It's just been overheated. I
Yep.
don't think I don't think it's a controversial statement to say SMH or semiconductor stocks. The whole segment is overextended. It just needed to cool down. And right now it still looks bullish.
I mean, also, I mean, before I guess Trackers takes over, I can show
I think I already took
AMD.
over, so you have to take back
Oh, did
over
you?
again.
Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
that's fine. You can go ahead.
But you can do the
No,
thing.
no, no, go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's see. I've got my Tesla chart up here, the long version. Um, I thought this was a really nice little chart. I think I showed this to you guys last time. I made an adorable little. Oh, we did it on the Saturday for Sunday Spaces show the last week. But I took this adorable little Gann chart that I built off of the significant 101 81 low, and then I said, well, this 271 be hot, significant too that we have to see back off of, and so I just made that my 45-degree line, and I pulled this out 45 months, and I just kind of looked at how the Gann arcs look, and it really looks like it's kind of behaving along here. Maybe a little bit wild right there, but at least this arc is showing that it was resistance until it finally did break out right here. And then here's this, what's the name of this Gann line? We've got these horizontal lines that come off of, starting with the second arc, like it comes off right here. Anyway, that's where the 271 kind of lined right up. Um,
I like how you're calling for an ascending triangle break above.
yeah, it kind of feels like it when you get the price action that dips down. Some people were saying they were worried because like if this was, I don't know, 3 waves up and then there's a fourth wave, the fourth wave is too deep. It shouldn't, intersect with this line or come that close to it or even overlap. Well, if it does overlap, it's just a diagonal. You do have um, brain freeze. Sorry, you do get these Fibonacci sequences. These where they start to overlap like here, right? They just oh yeah, it starts to look really weird. Instead of getting like the nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got like a nice Fibonacci. You've got a level gap between the 1 and the 4. Sometimes they do this, and then that's just a diagonal. And actually, having it pull down like this just pushes the 5 up higher. So no, that's kind of and that's what we had back here. This gray rectangular box, I just copied this price action and I pasted it right over here, and I just scaled it up to match with the current price and Fibonacci levels. And so if, I'm not saying this is exactly what happens, but if we saw a repeat of what happened between 2021 and 2022, then this is what it would look like. And oh, another thing was, you guys heard me talk about this a lot, how I was thinking that this large triangle, it sets up a trend, breaks above the trend, it's a fake out, and then breaks below the trend, and then goes higher. I don't know why I never saw this before, but right here, it never did that. This one, it set up a trend, it set up a resistance and a support trend. It broke out of the resistance trend. It did go back into the triangle, which was very scary. but it did not actually break the support trend again. So I'm kind of looking for a repeat of that, where it just looks really scary because we're back in the triangle, but I don't think it's going to go back down here anymore. I believe in Matt scan charts, and I think that either now or very shortly, we'll see a bottom on this big three bars down. And what was the name for this candle that's filled all the way up almost, Pat? Like a special Japanese name for a
Like a
candle.
modest Yahoo or something.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
wait, which one are you referring to?
Oh, when you have a candle that fills up,
That's
it's
only body.
Malubasu.
Yeah, modest
Malubasu.
Yahoo. Yeah.
that one. So, we've got that one. And someone was talking about how they were afraid of the three crows here on Tesla, but it doesn't even break below the prior bar. So it's not really the three crows bearish setup. It's just simply 3 scary weeks in a row. And I do have a setup where, if it just so happened that the low that we had on Friday was the low that we're gonna get. So if it really did stop at let's see, I have to push this back here. 205.78 was the low that we hit on Friday for Tesla. And so I pulled I've got them in different sizes, sorry. Here it is. Yeah, so I pulled this off of the 138.80 low, the 271 high, and then the 205.78 as the wave 1-2. And if we could get that, then we could easily see 306, 256.28, then the 1382 for 388.48, back to 337 and on to 520.67. And then I did another thing, which I thought this was all today. I was just like messing around with this before the show. I was thinking, what if? So this happens a lot. I've been seeing this with Tesla. It seems to quote unquote correct in 3 waves up, and then it consolidates in 5 waves down. So it's possible that what we see is actually a 3-wave move up that gets us out of this, and it would look just like this blue ABC up I've gotten. In fact, I just for fun, I measured exactly all these angles, all these Fibonacci ratios, from the 414.50 high down to this significant 23.37 low. And then I mapped out all these ratios and I just extrapolated over here. And if we got the same thing, then we've already got the A was the 101.81 low. I'm sorry, the start of it was down there. Our A would get us up to about 426.69, which is a little high. I expect the very first test of the all-time high will fall just short of it and then fall down, not just exceed it, but maybe, I don't know. But this one says it'll exceed it. Comes back to 271 and then on up to 560.94. So just fun with ratios, fun with fibs. And then overall, in purple here, I just kind of like, let me see, I have to go to a bigger time scale. Overall, I just look at the whole Tesla chart and just think, well, there's a good note. There's a really nice 1-2 right there. So I just go from the beginning of time, from a low that's like just $1.99, 0.87, and I go 1-2 from the 414.50 high to the 101.81 low, and that gives me oh no, hang on, it's apparently it only shows up on daily charts. I just need to change the visibility. Sorry about that. So, and you've seen this one before. Because basically you could have done this anytime after the 101.81 low, where it just goes up 764 to 417, so that does just slightly exceed the all-time high. 417 to the 382, back to 259.77. If it goes that deep, then on to 673, back to 515, and then on up to 1086.77. So this is the Fibonacci pinball that I keep looking at over and over again. I just keep coming back to how this looks like a really good wave 1, 2. And so I really like the big purple lines going up to 1,000. And then even just on the smaller time scale, this 271 to the, whoops, get rid of that. Where is it? 271 to 205.78 that we just said on Friday. Also looks like a really good one too. And, you know, if it went to 200 for a perfect kiss off of 200, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It doesn't really change these fibs much at all.
I have a question.
Yeah,
You know,
please.
you have the greater tracker triangle that it broke out recently from, and it kind of looked like it back tested it, but it broke back down inside your
Yes.
triangle. Does that concern you?
Well, it did because originally my thesis was that we would break out, it would be a false breakout, and then we'd break down the bottom side. But as I said, I kind of, when I was playing around with this and I looked back in this triangle here, which I kind of equate this to be very similar to what's going on here, it didn't go back all the way down. It tested into the triangle, but it didn't break all the way down and break the support level that it had established here. So I think we're going to get the same kind of thing here. This
So
is
where,
like a very scary AB, and you go back in time here.
yeah.
Well, go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah, no, like so where do you think? I mean, it looks like we're breaking down underneath inside a triangle, but we're not scared about it. And then you're thinking maybe this is like a wave 2 correction.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm still
It's
trying
like
to see, like, I
another.
think a lot of people are, they're not as like long-term minded as we are sometimes. I'm sure you talk about all the way on your show a lot. Like, where do you think wave 2 is going to end right now, where we're at?
I hope it's done. I think I'm hoping Monday would just bounce back up again. But
Yeah.
if not, maybe there's a psychological thing where it just seems to be wanting to always test the hundreds. It's like this high that right here. That was a 301. I'm sorry, a 311.08. No, that's not right. $300.13. This A right here, that's $300.13. Then it went down to it broke below 200, tried to get up a little higher, came back down. Same thing. Let's look at the 180s, 180s, and then it finally did just it broke. Once it broke over 300, it gapped up and then went to 400, and then back tested. Well, first it back tested 300, and it did fall below there, and then back up. Couldn't get over 400. It got just over 400 again, but couldn't get as high as before. And it lost 300, lost 250. Right here, it's 233. And it's kind of interesting to go back and look and see
Do you
that
see a lot of symmetry of
233.
hitting those levels
Yeah,
again? I mean, like
yeah,
that's what it looks like. You're thinking this is really a reversal. Like this is really a breakout of the triangle. It broke back down a little bit too far, but it looks like if anything, looks like there's a lot of market symmetry in terms of your early waves. That's going to hit very,
yeah,
very similar levels going way up.
yeah. I see a big pull out of
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and also just kind of fun. 'Cause I just went deep into this rabbit hole. There's like these three little triangles here, and
I
then
like how
one,
you get
two
into your
little
rabbit
triangles
holes.
here. Yeah,
I, I really like to see that work out for you, man. Like the flags that you're drawing. I like how
that's
you had the market symmetry with the
that's how
with
I do it. That's how I predicted this low anyway.
yeah,
These same techniques. So
yeah,
1, 2, 3, and then a big triangle. So 1, 2, 3, and then this could be another
yeah,
really big triangle.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I see a lot of symmetry like looking at your chart. So I yeah. It could work out just like the way you say, man. I mean, I suspect that it might be a little bit faster if things really get up to like
yeah, I
all-time
hope so
high.
too.
But yeah, like this looks great, man.
I mean, I started buying TSLL, the 2X ETF, bullish ETF of Tesla, like right here, right where the earnings was happening. And
Yeah.
I said, you know what if what if it breaks up and I don't have any shares? So I just bought a whole bunch before the earnings, and it dove down, but that wasn't so bad. I didn't care, and I bought some more. I bought some more. And shoot, if it goes down here, I'll just buy it all the way down here because, like you said, in the long term, I mean, right here,
Yeah.
it that
It
that's
doesn't matter. Like
that's
it
there
doesn't,
now.
it
You
doesn't
know,
matter.
back then
Yeah.
it was like $50,
Yeah.
and one day this will be way back in the past too,
Yeah.
and we'll be up here in the 500s, and this is like way smaller, and then that, as time marches on, everything just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, just like
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah. It's
everything that was
almost
so critical and scary back then doesn't even
yeah.
register as a blip.
It's almost like you go into a Goodwill and you're trying to negotiate a toaster and they're trying to sell you to you for like $5 and you're like, no, this is worth $4. Like who cares?
I have one more thing. I'm sorry if you just let me indulge.
We love you to indulge.
Okay, I did a comparison. I was looking at well, this is the best way to do it. Well, I try to do it like this. My friends and I, we've been trying to figure out how TSLL compares to Tesla. Um, and if you want to trade one instead of the other, like how well does one do over time? And I just wanted to go back here, and what I did was, off of this 271 high, I pulled this information line down to the low we just got on Friday. And so we've fallen down 24.07%, 0.07% from the 271 high to now. If you go to see, I think this was supposed to be, this was my TSLL. Oh no, what did I do with it? Uh, oh, here it is. Yeah, yep, just 4-hour chart. But TSLL, which is supposed to be a 2x, bullish of Tesla, so you'd think it would go down twice what Tesla went down. Well, Tesla went down 24%, so you'd think it would go down 48%, but actually it only went down 45%. And if you do another back here from the 138.80 low, Tesla moved up 95% to that 271, but TSLL moved up 244%. So that's more than the double performance it's supposed to have. Actually, TSL is looking really, really good as a way to augment your buying power. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Just keep buying TSLL, and I'll sell it maybe, around here, right? When it gets to the highest part, then I'll trade it into Tesla common shares, maybe some TSLZ just to hedge on the way back down, for just a little ABC down. That's it. That was some good news I wanted to share about TSLL versus
Very
TSLA.
interesting. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting how the leverage play actually looks. Yeah, it's
Yeah, so just do a
yeah,
valley trough comparison.
yeah.
All right, I will relinquish control back to whoever wants it. Just bust on in with your chart. Or
All
unless you want me to
right.
do something else.
Tracker the dog is relinquishing control. We're gonna have
Yes.
Matt the Fox to maybe come in to talk about Tesla like you do. I mean, I appreciate you guys sharing,
Yeah.
like, like Tracker, you do your morning shows and like you guys you have a bunch of viewers coming in looking at you. You got a lot of fans, subscribe to you on X. And then
I
like,
have less fans now.
well,
Now
it's cyclical with
it's cyclical. Yes, it is.
and then you also have Matt who does like these weekly updates and they get like tons of views. So
Not
yeah,
last week though. I don't know. Only a few thousand last week. People just don't care.
only a few thousand.
They're too depressed right now.
Matt's charts
I
are
don't,
magical. Everyone should look at Matt's charts for hope
yeah,
because
I
they're
don't
just
see why anybody's
fantastic.
depressed about Tesla. Like as far as like greater market is concerned, like Tesla is holding on great. Like, I don't
I know, and
Yeah.
just don't be depressed about it. If you're holding the shares, don't worry about it. Just relax. And if you got money, buy more Tesla.
Bye
Buy it,
bye bye.
buy. This is
Not
this is
financial
what you're
advice.
waiting for. This is the pullback.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying last week. Like nobody can really time the exact bottom, right? It's just you gotta just buy support in my opinion. Like not financial advice. Yeah, because nobody can time the exact bottom, but it feels like it's very near, right?
For sure.
Feels very, very near. So I have the famous Fibonacci level that I show all the time from the
Yeah.
all-time
Wait,
high
what?
to the low.
Did you bust in yet? Because I think I can't see.
Yeah.
You might have to unshare
Oh, I'll stop
tracker.
sharing. So.
Yeah, because we don't
No.
have to kick you out system. There you are.
Oh, whoa, got it.
Oh
Done. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I it says I was sharing though, but I guess yeah, not.
No, I think you were, and my screen was covered. I thought it was all me.
All right. So yeah, just from the previous all-time high down to the low of January 2023. And it did close a second week below that Fibonacci level, the 221 level that I've been talking about the whole time. And essentially, where is it going to go? Is it going to go all the way back to the 175? I don't think so, right? And I mentioned this in my weekly recap video with all the other indicators. And when you look at the Ichimoku here, it's just back testing that baseline right there around. Well, it didn't even hit there, right? It got to 205.78 and the baseline's at 204.90. So possibly Monday it could just like go down and wick below it and whatnot and just hold, right? And the main thing I really wanted to point out is like it's looking more bullish than it has in a long time because when we zoom in a little bit here, you can see that the last time it really was above the baseline was, I mean, I really want to count this as being above just because it reached like the 50% level and got rejected pretty hard and then it just went down, right? So essentially that didn't really count because it wasn't really at the resistance level yet and there it was and then it went down. But now, I mean, they're both pretty close together. We had a bullish cross from the conversion line and the baseline, and now it's just back testing the baseline, which it really hasn't done successfully in a long, long time, right? The last time I guess was maybe around here in August of 2023, where it did successfully test it, but it was still in a really big downtrend, right, from the top. But now since the bottom, it seems like it's kind of like in an uptrend a little bit, even though it did make a lower low from this low here. So that's like questionable that it's still in an uptrend from this low, but still, this is a higher low from that 2023 low, right? I think that is pretty important. And more importantly, when you put on the monthly Ichimoku here, I think it's telling a bigger story, really. And that's what I pointed out on my weekly recap video that it's on top basically. The month's not over yet, right? There's 26 days left. It's on top basically of both of the baseline and the conversion line. And again, the last time it really has done that was, yeah, we can say back here in July of 2023, but not really, right? It was just temporarily. And this is maybe the second month in a row that is possible, but ultimately, since I would go back to maybe during the bull trend. Let's see, like the last time these were really close together was maybe back here before it really took off, right? In like May of 2020. What do you call that? A katana? This would you qualify this as a katana? Cat?
I would
Yeah.
qualify that. It worked out really well. Like they got really
Yeah.
really close and it just shot up together. Yep.
Yeah. So that katana played out perfectly and went all the way to the top. And like really the last time this has been that close was really around this time right here, right? Like September of 2020. Like
Yeah.
the conversion and baseline, they're super close together and it's on the top side of it. It's pretty much like almost like identical to that level. Like we haven't really seen this kind of bullishness in a while. And granted the cloud was really far away at that time and now we're just like fighting and battling the cloud right now. So it looks to me like this is going to be a successful backtest of these monthly conversion and baseline, which we haven't really seen that in a long time. In fact, like that bearish cross right here, uh what was that, like November of 2022, that like really signaled the downtrend, but now that we're on top of that, this could signal the beginning of the uptrend in my opinion. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, Cat, but
I do.
that's what
I
it really
do.
feels like to me. And one thing I really want to point out too is I'm going to go back to the weekly chart. I'm going to take off the Ichimoku. I did not include this in my weekly recap, but I'm just going to point it out like right now. So we can see that price is below the 382, right? And it's done it before in the past. It's done it here and here. But if we like add just a halfway point in between there, with that Fibonacci, let's just say it's the halfway point is 309. You can see that, look at that. Like this level right here, this is where it went to right here, and it was here, and this, it was here, and it was resistance here, here, and resistance here. It was support here. So I think this could possibly be the max pain level. Like a wick below 200 again, 198.43, just because there's so much confluence of candles wicking there and staying there. Even in the past here, it was important. Even with this candle here, it was important, right? So I think the halfway point between the 236 and 382, the 309, I think that could be the max pain scenario, just based
I like
off
it.
of previous hits. Exactly, right? So that's all I wanted to share. If you want to take over, Kat, or share any comments.
Meow meow, I'll take over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
That's beautiful, Matt. Thank you.
yeah.
No problem.
Both of your charts are beautiful, actually. It's you guys have more accuracy when it comes to Tesla than I have over the last year and a half. So so
It's my
I
obsession.
I do want to just say, like, without pulling any fancy indicators, like just look at the weekly chart. You can see my chart, okay? Anybody?
Yep, there it
Yes, I
is.
can.
Yeah.
Just
Like
popped
look
up.
at the current level. Like just I'm not even pulling out any fancy indicators. Just look at it. Are we at an important level right now? What do you think? Yeah. Like you have such
Yeah,
You
super.
confluence
you
over
made a
here, right?
beeline for that level.
Yeah, look, so if you're talking about market symmetry, let me draw like a little box or a range over here. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, so you hit this range over here. 200 seems to be a very, very important level that price just kind of gravitates over for like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, you have a little bit of a high peak right here, like deviation up here, deviation down, right? That's like the peak up, the peak down, and then you also have some smaller peaks here and some smaller peak down here. You have a little bit of a like a peak here, a little peak here, right? So overall, it looks like there's a lot of market symmetry that's been happening. It's just been oscillating around this level. It's almost like you're throwing like a metal ball in the air and there's a magnet and then somehow like you're gonna have like a little bit of like a sine wave. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And I think the volatility is going to come pretty soon. I'm going to show you as to why I think that is. But I basically just think this whole thing right here is just a big accumulation zone, which I don't think anybody's really going to be like that much disagree with me here on this chat. Um, the whole thing too is if you look at like the greater, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. You look at greater scheme of things, a lot of the monthly here, it's only been 2 days of trading. So far, you look like you have an inside candle here to this big giant candle over here. Like, the trend is still up, based on looking at like the last few months. So I think whenever it's like consolidating and the month is still early, who knows? Maybe this next month's gonna feel this break over here. Who knows? Or maybe it ends up just going sideways and just get like an inside candle here for August, which is fine too. But like Matt was saying, like Ichimoku, you have like a very, very nice look over here. You have a very, very nice look. They look very, very similar to this, previous bull trend over here. But I just want to show more like the Bollinger Band, which is a very, very important thing to look at. You have something that has happened that hasn't happened for really like about 3 years, like 2 years. The 20-month moving average has been downtrending really since like July or August 2022, and it was rolling over. And even though you had like a little bit of a break back above the 20-month moving average here because it was still downward sloping, and
But
we
now
didn't
it's
really
not.
have, yeah, we didn't really have that like strong impulsive price action to really turn the 20-month moving average flat. Initially I thought that there was a chance over here. It looks like it wanted to break down underneath, still rolling over, wanted to, but just couldn't, right? So January just like, no, screw you guys. You're not good support. Bear sniffed it out, downtrend, right? And the next thing you know, you end up hitting close to the lower Bollinger Band over here, around April, and it bounced very, very impulsively. There's a lot of demand over here. And the next thing you know, this whole price action over here for about 20 months or so is flat, right? And as a result, what happens? The 20-month moving average is flat, right? And if all it takes just a couple of candles closing like around or above the 20-month moving average, which we had, and now what's happening? The 20-month moving average is crawling up, right? So when was the last time when the 20-month moving average went from like a downtrend to crawl up? let's look at what happened last time when it did that, right? A
1,000,000%.
downtrending, yeah, a downtrending, the downtrend 20 moving average curling up. Like, what happened after that? I don't know. What happened after that? The other thing that's very important to look at too is the Bollinger Band is squeezing, which
Ooh, squeezy, squeezy.
yeah, squeezy, squeezy. Yeah, I got Matt to say squeezy, squeezy on his videos, you know. But so I think that there's a lot of findings here that tells me I think this is it. Like I think that the correction is over. It could go down a little bit further on a short term, and I don't really give a crap. Like,
Yeah, because there's still 26 days left in the month, so anything's
yeah, like
possible.
there's so much support. Like you're talking about like the baseline over here on the Ichimoku. You're talking even on the weekly. You're talking about Super Ichi. You're right at support here on the baseline. You know, it can go down to 200. There's a lot of confluence down 200. Sure, could it go
Yeah, there
down
is.
like a little bit data further. Yeah, we're at support band. Where is that around 200? You know, like you can totally go down to 200. It'll still be very very bullish. You know, like this
I
three candles over here, I don't really care. Anyway, I'm done talking about Tesla, so I'm gonna stop share. Yeah.
What do you
what's
want
What do
to
you
hit
guys
on
next?
want
now?
to talk about next?
There's so many things
We're
we
talking
can
about
talk about.
the big three, I guess, like Palantir, NVIDIA, and then we can talk about some of the other stocks that other people might be interested in. We can go to like Bitcoin, crypto. Yeah, I guess we can call it a night.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And I'll just say out
Yeah,
there to everyone listening in the audience,
Matt, we're gonna let you
it's,
drive the show here.
there's a lot of
Okay.
stuff that has just been falling so hard. It makes a really good 1-2 to build off of, and we just have to see. I mean, as far as I'm going, I just have to see where the two stops. Once this market, move down finishes, it'll point us to some really nice higher numbers for a lot of these charts. We just have to see this week play out.
Okay. Can you guys see my Tesla?
Yeah. Oh, NVIDIA.
Oh, sorry, NVIDIA. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, I can see your
Trick.
NVIDIA just fine. Yep,
It was a trick question. Yeah, NVIDIA the whole time.
we're tricked.
Yes. All right. So this is my GAN, and on linear scale, it never reached that 140 level. So I still think that's going to be the target. Whether it backtests that blue level or not to go up there, that is still in question, and that does sit around 96. But who knows if it'll get there because of that successful wick through the baseline there, which was it went through what 101.37 and the baseline is at 103.50. So that is still support and also closed back above my arc there as well, which is still support. And that could be all the pain you can see, but still a possibility to go down to the 96 level is there because if you also put on that monthly Ichimoku, $93 basically is the conversion line. So going down to back test that would be perfectly normal and still very healthy in my opinion. And that would be probably a good time for accumulation to maybe go higher, right? Maybe to buy some to go higher. Not financial advice, but I think that the pain is limited to the downside. I don't think it's going to just collapse like people are saying. I believe that this chart is just consolidating to retest levels wherever the new higher low is until it's able to break out and go higher.
Yeah, I mean at this point you're talking about if you're shorting you got some pretty important support levels over here and there's really not that much meat left on the bone. But if you're talking about longing, you got a lot more potential upside still. So
Yeah, and that'll bring me to my weekly log scale chart, like that 3.618 level of that Fibonacci that I've been talking about for a long time. From where was that high? Back here, and yeah, the financial crisis high, right? 2007. That 3.68 never got hit, right? Which really means that I think that's still going to be the shorter term target. And whether it comes back down to these 90 levels to retest this previous all-time high or not, that's still to be cited. But I think the downside is limited for a greater upside potential. That's what I really think. And I don't think it's going to just stop here and never touch that 3618. I think because of how perfect all these fib extensions have hit in the past, especially this retest right here. I think it's just going to be a magnet for price in the longer term. Like it's just going to gravitate there. Yeah.
And then on up to that arc.
Yeah, and then up to the arc, and then to the next level up here at 1800.
Woohoo!
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I don't see any major crash with this. I still think it has a lot of potential to go higher, whether it retests the 90s or not.
Cool. And thank
What's
you
next?
thank
Do you
you
want to?
as always. Yeah, I'll get in a little bit, and I'll leave track of as any if you guys want, if you want to share something too.
Let's just see Matt's Palantir if he doesn't mind.
Oh, Palantir. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
share
let's
Palantir
talk about
first.
Palantir, and then I'll take over and talk about both real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can also do miners later because I know everybody cares about that stuff. So I'll focus on my log scale because I like that one the most. Essentially that orange level held as support. I did put it on my weekly recap video, and I think this is even more important than the fib level there, just because how important it was for resistance in the past. Like so many wicks and candles went up and touched it, right? And then with this candle breaking above it, it just successfully back tested it right now. So I think this could be the maximum pain area, right? Maybe it can go down to the lower 23s or maybe high 22s or something as a wick, but I really think the downside now is limited for this one. And if you put on the Ichimoku here as well, like the baseline does sit down there at 23.16 and it did not hit. So that is a possibility to go down to the low 23s to touch that line. But I really think that it's pretty close to a support level based off of this chart.
Not financial advice, but this is a great time to start buying Palantir.
Yes, in my opinion too. I have been
Yeah,
buying.
yeah. I mean, I can't really be that bearish on this chart.
I bought
Yeah.
some on Friday.
Me too.
Ooh.
Yeah, I bought other things on Friday, but yeah, it's I think it's a good time to buy things.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
Looks really good.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna load up my NVIDIA chart here.
All
Let me
right,
know if you
I can.
guys can see it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see it.
Yeah, like how can you like okay, so this is a weekly chart. The orange is 20 month sorry, 20-week moving average. The blue is 50, the black is 100. Like how can you be bearish on this chart? I don't know. I suppose if you worry that this might have topped right here, kind of like how it is, and just gonna roll over, I suppose that's like always a possibility. But just even here is a little bit of like a little bit like a wanting to like roll over here a little bit, But I don't know. I can't like this is a bull trend. It's a bull trend. I don't know what else to say. If you are looking at the Ichimoku on the weekly, it's found some pretty good support. On the monthly, you know how I was talking about a couple months ago, I was worried NVIDIA was like a little bit overextended. You remember I was saying this either going to correct through price or through time. And remember how I was saying it's probably going to end up correcting through time. I think it's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah,
You remember
Priyanka's
I was
Bollinger
saying
Banners.
like, yeah, like I'm testing you guys' memory. Like how I was saying like I think things are looking very similar over here compared to how it was over here, compared to how it was over here. You know, it looks like it might be playing out. We're just way too far away from the like conversion, and we just probably need to go sideways here for a few months before bullish continuation. If you ask me whether or not the trend is exhausted, I think not exhausted. The trend is exhausting. I guess I should say that. You look at the Bollinger Band on the monthly. I think the trend is starting to exhaust. It's starting to curl up. And just to kind of give you an idea, like whenever the price kind of curl up a little bit, I'm gonna show like when did the price curl up here, right? Around January 2017. And then when the price started curl around here around April 2009, right? We're gonna look at what the price, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. And then price, so like January 2017 and also over here around September 2020, right? So let's take a look at what the price did back then. Whenever Bollinger Band from the bottom started curl up around January 2017, it was right here, right? So it was the beginning of this like sideways for months kind of thing. And that's when the bull trend really starts to exhaust. I mean, price still went up and made like a 3x since then, but the trend starts to exhaust, right? Around January 2017, went sideways for months. Over here, you have the exhaustion of the, a little bit of exhaustion over there around September 2020. What did price do over here? Went sideways for like another half a year. Um, so you still went on make another like, close to like 2.5, 3x, after that. I think we're getting close to that point. I think Bull in Japan is really starting to show us, hey, we've gone way too far, way too fast. It would keep going, probably another like potentially even like 2.5, 3x, like even like 4x, who knows? But we're starting to see a little bit of a trend exhaustion. But right here, probably still be a buying opportunity, like how here was a buying opportunity, like how here was a buying opportunity. And I still see that to potentially have an ongoing bull market for another, who knows, another like year and a half, 2 years, for another like year and a half. I can still see that it keeps on going up to like 300, 400. I can still see that happening. And that would be on bearish diversions on the monthly. That would be, you'd be going up on bearish diversions on the monthly. Price goes up and the trend's exhausting. You still keep going up to like 3x, but RSI just keeps rolling down. Price keeps going up, but RSI just kind of unchanged, a little bit exhausted. And I see like right now, I think we're at the very, very similar point like we were over here and like we were over here. That's all. Like I don't have anything else to say about NVIDIA. If you want to talk about specific levels, things like that, I'm not, like you already saw what Matt was talking about. You already, and Track is also very, very good about coming up with specific levels. But like to me, I don't care. Like here, it can go sideways and go down a little bit more to like 90s. I really don't give a crap. Like that's kind of how I see it about NVIDIA. Palantir, I think it's a little bit of a different story. I think the bull trend probably just starting. And I think that if anything, like you have a little bit more like a consolidation over here for, you have a little bit of a contraction band over here. The RSI is still on the monthly is still like nothing, like compared to NVIDIA, the RSIs already hit like the 80s, like get close to 90 on the monthly, right? For Palantir, it's not even overheated yet. Like it's just like whatever. Yeah, we have room to go up higher. We're just consolidating sideways over here because we've been consolidating sideways over here for like a year in 2020, 2021. So we're just going to have some resistance over here. We're trying to break above that. We got a little bit of a Bollinger Band resistance here. You got a little bit of resistance over here. But okay, let's cool down a little bit, back to some of the breakout levels over here. Turn this, 25 from resistance to support, and Matt was showing that beautifully. Found finding support so far in just 2 days. I mean, I think it's probably going to end up having some pretty decent bullish continuation. You look at the weekly, there's nothing really scary about this chart. It's still a very, very like beautiful bull trend. I'm going to show you the 20 over 50 over 100. Like it's a bull trend, you know. So I don't really have any concern over Palantir. It's just doing what it needs to, and it's probably gonna go up higher. I'm done.
Just a quick reminder. I mean, I'm sure all the Palantir fans out there already know, but Monday they're having a earnings release.
I like earnings at support. I do. I like it a lot.
Yeah, earnings of support is a great place to go from.
Yeah, and a lot of people also like think that Palantir is like a smaller cap. It's not like the Max 7, but there's a lot of attention that's being paid to it. Like it actually can potentially change the market sentiment because it is the quintessential AI play.
Yeah, I mean, it could scale up huge. They barely scratched the surface of their addressable market.
Yeah. Tracker, do you have anything you want to share on these two, or do you want us to keep moving
Uh,
on?
well, let's skip it. Let's I think people are more interested in seeing the miners and stuff. We're gonna do any of
Yeah.
that.
You want to go
Yeah,
to the miners?
we can do maybe start with Bitcoin, then we can talk about miners.
Okay. Me first, I guess. Yeah.
You're always first.
Oh, so sweet.
You're the most alpha of us three, so
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
I just get
I'm the alpha beta.
I fluctuate myself
Yeah.
as well.
I think that used to be a supermarket when I was a kid, alpha beta. Huh, weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so here we go, Bitcoin. You guys can see it, yeah?
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so Bitcoin is going back below my all-important orange level. I'll just take off the Ichimoku real quick. Yeah, so essentially, I talked about this many, many times. 61.3, that level, I really wanted to hold. And when price was going up here, I'm like, don't get excited, don't get excited. And sure enough, what happened? Price just collapsed back to support right now. I mean, hopefully this just turns into a wick and it closes back above and then continuation, but we'll have to wait and see. And what does sit there
Kind
with
of
that
looks like
Ichimoku?
if you just like follow where price is right now and you go back to the left of the chart, there's
Yeah.
other it's got confluence with other points right there as well.
Yeah, you do. You have the confluence of like these wicks, these candles right over here, right? A lot of support in this area, really. And even right here, there's a lot of support here with these candles too. So I think this could hold. And when you add on that Ichimoku, you can see that it is going through the conversion line now, and the baseline does sit down there at 58,019, and that could be a possibility, right? Tomorrow we could wick down there or close down there. I don't know. But so far it's been a solid support zone. It is getting closer and closer to the cloud, so maybe that's what price just wants to do the whole time. So if that did take enough time to get to the cloud, that would be what, October, maybe even November, right around election time, could be a good time to go up, maybe. So we could just see this sideways action for a few more months until there's a possible breakout above. But by that time, if it did wait until October, that time the blue angle would sit around like over 72,500, which would kind of coincide with the previous all-time high. And if it broke that time, then I'd be really bullish for the scenario of going up to the 100,000s up here, like 112 or 115 or so. Right, but I'm not going to get excited until this blue angle gets broken, and I'm not going to get like scared until this baseline really gets broken for multiple weeks in a row, because it did break right here back in July 1st week, but the next week just went up, right? So I like to see a couple of weeks close below that to really get confirmation that it's going to go lower. But until then, it's just really in a range. It's really in a wide range, right? From 58,000 all the way up to 71,000 or so. So just a big range and just got to wait and be patient. That's it.
Hmm.
That
What do
does
you,
sound good.
what do you think about this week? I mean, we got another 24 hours to go or so before it closes. Any like lower time frame stuff? What are your thoughts, in terms of this week's price action?
I just want to say it could just be a wick and it could close higher
Yeah.
than your line.
Well, let's go to the daily chart to see. Yeah, daily chart's at support, right? There's the bottom of the
Yeah,
cloud. Let's see, 4 hour chart. I I don't know,
it's a
just
downtrend, yeah.
it's a downtrend. Let's see. Let's look at the 15-minute. Oh,
Welcome to my
look at the
world.
15-minute. It's no, but look, it's back up. It's look, we just got a
Yeah,
bullish cross right there. A
trending up.
bullish cross of the
You think it's gonna push back up to
yeah,
your
look at
61
that.
300?
It could do it. It could
But
definitely
yeah.
do it.
But look at that. Like it just had a bullish cross from the conversion baseline and it's on top of both right now. So this is a good sign to push back up. Yeah.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be hitting the cloud? You think cloud's gonna be resistance? Is red cloud right there in 15 minutes? I don't know.
Yeah. Should we go to the 1 minute? Just joking. let's let's do day trading right now. Yeah. No, but this is where I start for a trend reversal on the 15-minute
Yeah,
chart, and
yeah,
basically this is a good sign, right? It's a good sign that it wants to continue higher now and get back to
Yeah.
the 61,000s and possibly above. So, but yeah, it's gonna hit resistance right here around 61,200 maybe. Yeah, maybe 61,000 even, depending on time. Yeah, so we'll see. But there is a possibility it'll just be a wick and we'll close over 61.3 and then we'll be happy. And then
Yeah.
next week will be great for stocks and crypto and everything rally could start. Who knows, right? We'll see.
yeah. And I
Fantastic.
don't really have like a whole lot to show on Bitcoin. All I can say is I don't think we really hit the euphoric phase. Like I came up with like the top 10 reason why Bitcoin hasn't topped, and those are all still apply for the most part. Like we haven't really had that Bollinger Band expansion on a monthly. We really haven't had like the pi cycle top. Like we haven't hit like pretty much like any of the major indicators that I'm looking at. So I'm not really that scared about Bitcoin on the longer term time frame. Short term time frame, I don't, like anything can happen, I suppose. But like even then it's really just been doing what it's supposed to, is stuck in a range, just like what Matt's saying. So I don't really have a Bitcoin chart to show. Matt, before going to the miners, if you can put up one thing so I don't like have to share my screen, go to like
Yeah.
the USM2 the money supply chart. It's going to automatically put up the monthly here. And I just want to have everybody just look at this and like, keep it into perspective. And you can turn off the Ichimoku part because the Fed's not gonna get worried about your Ichimoku resistance.
It's hitting resistance right now. Let's stop
They're
printing money.
they're not
Quick.
gonna care about your baseline. So just look at it to get a perspective of what's happening. We're
Yeah.
still pretty far away from the previous all-time high. And if you're worried, like why your minor stocks, why Tesla, why like Palantir, why IWM, why are they just kind of whipsawing and just keep forming higher high and higher lows, but they're still not doing what you wanted to do? And why do things consolidate for like 6 months on sideways and become excruciatingly painful after like Mara went from like something ridiculously low to to like 10x basically, and now it's just cooling down sideways for about 6 months. It's because the money printer is just starting to get warmed up. You know, like you really just literally talking about the bottom of the U.S. money supply recently was in October 2023, and we were just starting to get warm up here. Rates just started to plummet, right? So I just wanted to give that a little bit more, a little bit of perspective, in terms of people
What?
wondering why like miners haven't like popped. They've just been like going downtrend and whatever. Like there's still like a macro higher low as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
showing that.
And also, it just goes to say that they're not going to stop printing money, which means uh, it's going to add liquidity to the markets, and that's going to add everything. Eventually, it's going to go up together, right?
Yeah, the trend is up. Like just look at it. Like
Yeah,
it's the trend
that's
is
what I
up.
mean.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just more proof that they're adding more liquidity in the market, and that eventually there will be an everything rally, whenever that'll be, after they scare everybody out of the market first, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put that into perspective. So a lot of people worry about like minor stuff like that, but yeah, Matt, unless if Tracker, if you want to show anything, I'm not going to show my charts. I'm just going to tell Matt what to do.
Show you this one little thing, which is just the same triangle tracker, uh, uh,
Yeah, go
just a
ahead.
tracker triangle, which is this is the triangle that I drew when we just had this high and this low and this high and this low. And then this was unexpected. And I thought that this Elliott wave overthrow sent it right on out here. But no, a weird thing happened. It did not break out of the top of the triangle. And it actually just fell right back to test this same support line again. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I just want to show that it did seem to respect the same, this earlier trend. So I don't know if maybe was this when Germany sold all that Bitcoin? I have no idea.
Maybe. But by
They
the
just
way,
they flooded the market
yeah,
for a
I
little
just want to
bit.
let everybody know like Tracker pretty much timed the bottom here. You know, on that bottom right there, I think Tracker
Yeah,
pretty
I
much
saw
timed
this
that.
trend and it's like there's no way. That's the bottom of it. And I think I did something fancy with uh Fibonacci ratios, a retrace, but I can't, it's not here anymore. I've deleted it since then. I can't remember, but
Yeah,
that's,
I mean, people
well,
can look at
you can just
X.
look right here. You can just look right there and say
Yeah,
that it just backed us to that.
yeah. I mean, people can look at X and like, I just want to give you some street cred because I feel like you're
Oh,
too
thanks.
humble.
Well, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. I think, so maybe we'll
It's at the bottom of your triangle.
bounce.
I love
It
it.
should just go up from here.
Yeah, I
That's
love it.
gorgeous looking. Yeah,
That's a gorgeous looking. Yeah, that's a lot of
I think that
symmetry.
that's the best BTC chart today.
Well, it should do
You
this.
don't like the ones with the arrows going down to like 48,000? No.
I like the ones that go into negative territory. Those ones are really good.
All right, I'm stopping my share now.
Oh, it's
Hey,
beautiful, man.
Yeah, that chart is just adding more confidence that things have bottomed for BTC. So let's make
yeah.
sure that your triangle works, right?
Yeah. And yeah, Mattsby, you want to take over? We can talk about MSTR first. Actually, I'm interested in that in terms of what you think, because that usually is little bit of a leading indicator, I think, for in terms of what Bitcoin could be doing. Just because last
Okay.
cycle MSTR really crapped the bed. Started like in February of like 2021, I think, when
Okay,
Bitcoin
yeah.
just kept going high. So I think if MSTR, if it does poorly, like it's a warning sign. But yeah, let's see what it's showing.
And
So I
after that,
have,
after
go
that,
ahead.
our favorite Heidi wants to see Mara and CLSK
Yeah, I saw that in the
Who's
chat.
Heidi?
Yeah.
hiding
I
out.
was, I'm
She's
just I'm
she's
just kidding.
Heidi out.
I know, like we love
We
Heidi.
we should send her a Zoom link and get her on here right now.
We
She's
should.
fun.
She's not going to come on though.
No, I know. Anyways, so yeah, that Fibonacci from the all-time high in 2000, it's going below it a little bit right now, but I know it's from a long time ago, so who knows if it's going to be that accurate, so we don't really have to pay attention to it, so I'll just delete it. But it's looking perfect, right? I mean, could it come back down to these levels again? It's a possibility, but it's not a guarantee. But it's just confirmation, in my opinion, that this is support, right? It used to be a resistance back here in 2021. Now it's support with more confluence of the angle too. So there's like double confirmation that this wants to hold as support and eventually go higher. And with the Ichimoku on there as well, it is closing weeks below the conversion, but the baseline does sit down there around those levels as two, which is even more like confirmation that this should hold as a support. So will it just blast off and continue higher? It kind of depends on Bitcoin, I guess, but it looks like it's just still in a range, in my opinion. It can't break above this previous high back here when it was at 1999.999. It was, yeah, whatever. For a great deal of 1999 and 99 cents, right? Yeah.
Are you German? Are you saying no?
9999, yeah. But anyways, essentially, I don't think it's going to just explode higher. I just think it's going to stay in this range, and it's just looking for another higher low, in my opinion. Whether that's there or back down to the 1200s again, we'll see. But I think if it does get down there, I might just continue to add to my positions.
Hey Matt, just a quick question. Do you get excited when you see one of these vertical GAN lines coming up?
Not really. I mean, it could be, yeah, like a market top cycle and maybe a new era, right? So it could just come down and consolidate for a while and then come break free. So it just depends,
Okay,
right?
then
It just
you
depends.
you've seen these a lot more than I have. So
Yeah, but like with the Tesla chart, it does coincide with like cycle tops. So I mean, could this be a cycle top? That could be a scary thought, right? We don't want that to happen, but it's still really bullish. So that's just could be a continuation, right?
Yeah, this is totally a Wyckoff distribution. That's the UTAD right there. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Like it's people talking about like Wyckoff all the time. Like unless if you're like a real bond broker, don't talk about it because
Yeah.
it's really
very
gestalt.
technical.
You really have to get a good feel because reaccumulation looks just like distribution. So
Yeah. But the reason why I think it's going to continue higher is because of the previous resistance here, flip to support. That's why I think it's going to go higher.
Oh yeah.
and also
Because
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, just because when that really happens, it's not going to go lower, right? That's usually when something gets flipped to support on this kind of a chart, it's just going to gravitate to the next levels. That's what usually happens.
It looks like it wants to keep going higher, and if anything, like
Yeah.
for the gap closed Nazis, like it closed the gap, like from a few weeks ago. I don't think any gaps have to close, to be honest with you. I don't really care. Like weekly gaps, they're more likely to close. Monthly gaps, they're more likely to close. But like I don't even for weekly gaps, I don't think they have to close, right? But you just close like an important gap right there for the gap closing Nazis. So
Let's see,
congratulations.
1435, and it went to what, 1417? Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
is a gap close. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll
So I
tell you
mean,
guys what
like.
some of the best Ellioticians told me when I was coming up through the ranks. Not all gaps get filled. That's it. Not all gaps get filled.
Yeah.
Yeah, some gaps just remain virgins, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And
Sometimes price. The reason why you get a gap is because price is trying to get somewhere in a hurry. It's going there
Yeah.
with purpose, and if you know where it's going ahead of time, then you can really put that to your advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and just look at the chart. Like, doesn't this look more bullish than Bitcoin?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, Bitcoin's like already way down here, right?
Yeah.
And this one, well, I mean, it's not trading over the weekend, so we don't even know where it's going to open up. So it's possible to open up down here. It just depends on where Bitcoin closes, I guess.
yeah. And then two more questions for you, because I like to stir crap. One is, are you worried about the bullish, sorry, the bearish engulfing, look
No,
to it?
no, it just means that it could want to go lower to test these levels. That's all.
Yeah. And then second question, are you worried about the 20-week moving average pointing down? And with the bull in Japan and all that, like, you just, yeah, like, are you worried about that pointing down?
Uh, I mean, it just, I don't know.
Like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, not really. I like the squeezy though. I like that.
I do too. I like the squeezy. Yeah. And the
Yeah,
higher time frame stuff still looks pretty good. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. Like, I see a lot of times you have these kind of bearish engulfing candles that don't really go down further.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know.
Like there was one like right here, really,
Yeah.
the bearish engulfing, and then it just, but the BB, the 20-week was still sloping up though, right? So
Yeah. And I'm not saying that price won't go down further to like the 1300s, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes gap close is actually a pretty good support. Um,
yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
'Cause freaking everyone's looking at it on their charts.
yeah, everyone's looking at it. You're not
Oh,
wrong.
there's the bull market support band too. It's
Yeah,
right
it's right
there.
there. And with
Yeah,
Bitcoin's below that right now,
yeah,
So it's looking, it looked better than Bitcoin. So I can't be that bearish on Bitcoin if MSTR still looks pretty good.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah. You want to do Coinbase and we can go for the miners?
yeah. We'll do Coinbase, and
Yeah.
I'll do this on the monthly chart as well. Oh, it's below the bull market support band. Uh-oh. But let me take that off. But yeah, I made a video about this last week. I said don't get excited with the after hours action because it's probably going to go down to 199. And sure enough, it went down there. And essentially, it went right back down to the 7.1 fib. I guess technically the halfway point is the 702. That's why blockchain backer uses it, right? So I don't know. It's 7.1, 702, whatever you want to use. It's about the same anyways. And it just went down there again. And before that, 7.1 has been a perfect support level. So this could be the support. I mean, possibly it could come back down and retest the top arc as well into the mid 190s, which would also be the previous low right here at 194.93. So that is a possibility. But essentially, I would like to see another monthly close at the end of this month, end of the month, back above that 210 level right there, the blue level. And if that's the case, then it'll probably continue higher. But it looks like it was a clear rejection of this 786, and it tried to go above, but it got rejected by my angle, and then just a bearish engulfing candle closed below everything, really, like all these levels here. So we'll see, but it's looking like it's out of support. So this could just be a giant scare and nothing too scary. Like in the end, it could just be finding a support there to continue higher.
Yeah, they're just getting a money printer warmed up and things are just going sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, it really feels like maybe this is the final shakeout before things rally. Like let's get the news narratives going. Let's scare everybody out before we just really send things higher. And it's a perfect time for them to accumulate everything while people are panicking too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
just gotta
that's my
watch
feeling as well.
that whale accumulation, really.
Yeah. If you want to turn off your GAN and turn on a few indicators for me, I don't want to share screen.
Okay.
The first one is the Bollinger Band. So last weekend I did like a little impromptu live stream. I said 200 with earnings. People asked me what Coinbase is going to say. I said basically at 200 and bounce. The Bollinger Band got close to the bottom of the low Bollinger Band, which it would I think that's might be potentially as far as it goes. I mean, granted, it can keep going down lower, but there's no reason for it to do that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
It looks like it was just getting weaker and weaker. It looks like it wants to break underneath the 20 median, and it did. And if the next price gravitate would be probably close to the low Bollinger Band, and it got there. If you want to turn off and do the Ichimoku cloud, um, and I want you to look at the weekly, 2 week, and monthly time frame.
All right. So there's the weekly. Yeah. The weekly is right back at support.
Yeah. and then the 2
And
time frame, and then the monthly time frame. You're gonna like the 2 weeks, I think.
oh yeah, right at the top of the cloud.
Yeah, like look at like I cannot be bearish on this chart.
Well, that's why that's even more confluence with that 7-1 fib as well, like or 702, whatever you want to use. It's just right there in that same range, you know?
Yeah, like I can like look at this. I cannot be bearish. Look at the monthly. Look, the monthly tells you I think we bottomed. I think 200 is it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 199. And I mentioned that on
Yeah,
my video as well, 199. And that's why I hit 199 because even like on the weekly chart, 199 was the baseline, right?
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah.
essentially there's so much confluence around 200 at 199 that that was the bottom, and it looks like on the monthly chart too, just a giant bull flag as well. So
Yeah. This looks like like a game of volleyball where like the ball is suspended in space and it's coming down a little bit, and you have somebody who's like holding their hand up, they're about to spike the ball.
yeah, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Because it's up pointing, like the velocity of the trend is upwards with
Yeah.
the conversion line pointing up. And that's
Yeah.
also because we stopped counting the candle back in November, and we're, like yeah, so over time it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep pushing and support to go up. I did worry. I think Coinbase was going to go sideways for months. Like I said that whenever it was back in March, just because things are just way overextended and you're hitting some very important resistance zone dates all the way back to like 2021. And it went sideways for about like 7 or 8 months, and so far we've gone sideways for about 6 months. This is not surprising. I think this is getting pretty close.
So what you're saying is time to YOLO into some calls then?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think it's time to buy like Doge, maybe. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful. All right.
Yeah, but yeah,
Uh,
thanks for shares. Thanks for doing that.
let's go what miners, I guess.
Yeah, Heidi
CLSK.
wants to know CLSK and Mara. We'll give her what she wants, I guess.
Yeah, CLSK finally had a bearish engulfing candle below everything, right? Below the baseline and the conversion line. Haven't seen that in a while, right? It's been a long time since January, really, since it's been below the baseline. And what it really happened though is went back to my blue level, right? So if I take off the Ichimoku here, so you can see it clear. This is a log scale version of everything. Look at that blue level in the past. Wick, support, like a range, resistance, back to support. Like I bought some on Friday. I cannot ignore this chart. I like it. I like it a lot.
You should see the monthly Ichimoku.
Let's go to the monthly chart here.
You like it too.
Oh, I better.
You
If I
love it.
don't.
You love it. And Tracker might love it too.
Oh yeah, baseline. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Case rest. Yeah.
yeah, that's why I bought more. I think I bought more at 1327 exactly. And because I saw that baseline, I'm like, I gotta buy. And I did. So
Bye, 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 bye.
yeah, where's my lightning round music? Come on.
I tried last time. So what happened? I think Zoom automatically filters out music.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because I tried to play my recorder to do like the music, but I think it got tuned out. I went back and listened. I was like I swear I was playing music, but I just wouldn't come on. So but with that said, I think I would not be surprised, and this is a little bit of a bold call because things are looking so bearish. I would not be surprised if the month closes above 15.23. Because the Tenkin or the conversion line is pointing up. And I think this might be a move to kind of scare a lot of people. I would not be surprised if the month closed about 15.23, which is where the
Bold,
conversion line is currently pointing up,
bold
and that's where
call.
it is right now. So
Let's do an over under on that, right?
yeah, yeah, that's my best guess. I mean, all like TA is all about a probability game, right? Like I would never
Yeah, it
say, oh,
is.
it's going to close the month about like 15.23, like YOLO into calls short term. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like if price goes down, like again, I hate these like people like keep asking, oh, is this gap going to close underneath? Like if you do like the daily chart, you see like a lot of gaps underneath. Oh, it's the $10 gap, 10.5 is going to close. Like I don't care. If anything, just look at like the daily chart. If you can pull up the daily for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like zoom out all the from the current price action all the way to like 2020.
You want the
And you can
Ichimoku on or no?
off maybe, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
because yeah. And even turning it on or off
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Just look at this level. Look at the current level right now. Like
Yeah. Well, no, that lines up with my GAN level, right? Like, as
yeah,
you can see, look at the orange GAN level. Like, it was the exact same, right? And then maybe this time right here is exactly what this time is right here, and then it'll continue higher. Like, it's mirroring the past orange level a lot, right? So I think
yeah,
right now there's a possibility to just continue higher. Yeah.
yeah. And if people are saying, "Oh, this looks like a big giant distributive top. This looks like the trend's exhausting," like what would you say about that?
No, I would
Okay.
say you're wrong because this is pre-programmed. Look at how pre-programmed this already is. From the angle, it's like, look at this blue angle. It just hit down there perfectly and the level and now the next level. And yeah, you can't ignore this.
And look,
You
there's a
can't
gap that
ignore
never
it.
closed.
Yeah, screw those gaps.
You mean like yeah, when you say screw the gaps, are you saying you want to fill the gaps?
Yeah, I want to fill them. Yeah. Yeah, with a nice bullish long candle. Yes.
I've just decided that this could be a new drinking game. Like whenever we're watching when Matt do TA, whenever he says
Yeah.
continue higher, you have to take another drink. It can be like your middle name
Or
too.
and even confluence. I think I say confluence a lot too. So
Yeah.
yeah, gotta take a drink of that.
Yeah, I
Matthew,
think I
continue
end up
higher
picking that up
Hughes.
from you, like symmetry and confluence. Damn it,
Yeah.
Matt.
Damn it, we rub off on each other. Wink, wink.
Yeah, we rub off each other a lot. Yeah, yeah. Is Danny listening? He's probably sleeping. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
I hope he's asleep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 7:42 in the morning. That's way too early.
He needs
Yeah.
his beauty sleep.
Mara, we got Mara.
Mara. Yeah. Okay. So Mara closed below my angle. But it's done it before though. It's done it before many times, and it's still making it
Disrespecting
higher.
that angle.
It is disrespecting it, making me angry. But it's still making higher lows really from this period, and put on that Ichimoku. Yeah, it closed below the cloud, which is also disgusting. I don't like it. But if you go maybe on the monthly chart here, it's also closing below levels. It's looking like the ARKK chart now too, going below the monthly Ichimoku. But the month is not over yet, so this could also coincide with CLSK going up and closing above those levels. This could close above certain levels as well too. So I'm not going to count it out yet. It just could be one bad week, so we'll see what happens with that.
With Mara, like there's a reason there's a reason why last week I didn't buy Mara on Friday, like because I see that CSK was hitting some better support levels and there's some potential for Mara to go down a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's close. Like if for Mara actually if you instead of looking at the Ichimoku, I think Super Ichi looks better. It fits the whole price action better.
Oh
If
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's stuck in a range. That's it. Like it
Phew.
got rejected from the bottom of the cloud, and it's still stuck in a range. There might be a little bit further for Mara to go, which is like the reason why I didn't end up pulling the trigger. I can probably see it potentially going back down to maybe like what is it like 16. That's a possibility, right? That's just the bottom of the range, and there's nothing scary about it.
True. And
Um,
if
yeah.
one indicator doesn't fit your confirmation bias, just use another one.
Because you have to find levels of support, right? Like overall, this still looks like a
Yeah.
more higher highs than higher lows. Like it still looks like the overall structure still looks intact, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah.
But if you're trying to look for like if one support level is broken, like where's the next support going to be, right? I think it's important. If you look at it weekly too for the Super Ichi, I think this fits Mara a lot better
Yeah, there
because
we go.
yeah, because it's basically let's just even through history, like it just
Oh,
looks like it's back
there's a
tested the
katana
top
too.
crowd.
A katana.
Yeah, you have a little bit of katana. I mean, like the Tsubishi katana happens a lot more often than like the regular Ichimoku, but right now we kind of broken back inside the cloud, and like I can totally see it going down to like maybe 16, 15 and a half. That's possible, and that would still not be like that bearish because the cloud is green. Like green
Yeah,
means go, right?
yeah, and
So
also that would just coming down here would just retest these levels here.
exactly.
So
That would just be the
that's
bottom of the range.
yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I still think that Mara had bottomed back in April 2024. Like that hammer candle over there, I think that was probably it. But yeah, it's still stuck in range. I still don't think that this is anything like to necessarily get worried about, but I can potentially see Mara going down a little bit more. it doesn't have to, because I know it's still kind of touching levels back in like July 2023 and like August 2022. So
Yeah.
you're looking at like the 15-minute chart.
Yeah, I gotta see the direction.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but that's kind of what happens. Sometimes things break underneath, and maybe it's a false breakdown. Maybe it goes down a little bit further. Where's the support level going to be? I'd say maybe like 15 and a half, 16. If it
Yeah.
has to go, that's probably where I would be. Maybe buy like nibble buy a little bit more would be my guess. Another thing too, like if you look at the weekly Bollinger Band. I can see that price could go down to get or at least get closer to a low Bollinger Band like 15 or
Well,
something.
yeah, there is a lot of confluence in that area. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
So
why like last Friday I was like, oh, if I had to buy something, look at the charts. Yeah, okay, buy some CleanSpark. I might even buy some Bitfarms, which is, if you want to talk about that next. But yeah, Mara, I don't know, like maybe a little bit more room to go. But I still feel that it's just stuck in the range and there's still not, yeah, not anything that I'm necessarily gonna get too concerned about.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about it, Matt, like now that it's broken down, supports and things
It
like
kind
that.
of, yeah, it's losing. It kind of makes me feel like ARK, like it was like above those indicators, and then it closed the week below everything. And it's like, come on now, like it was looking so bullish, and then it just that 1 week last week just ruined a lot of things for me. But I'm not giving up hope yet.
Ooh, hopium.
Yeah, gotta get the. If TA doesn't work, then I switch to hopium, and then I lose all my money now.
Yeah, but the money printer also is just starting, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
feel that the more speculative stocks like the miners, they're gonna go last, and also altcoins, they're gonna go last. You're gonna have to
yeah.
have the like Bitcoin has to look more bullish first, and
Well,
the IWM, yeah,
before I'm gonna talk about ARK just before since I've been bringing it up a lot. Like,
yeah.
just look
Ooh,
at this
nice,
though.
nice.
But look at that though. Look at it closed a weekly candle below these lows. Like that made me angry right there. You know.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah, it is messing with your head a lot, like Arcus.
yeah.
But I think it's
And
okay. Yeah.
yeah, on it closed below the cloud too. It looks exactly like Mara, and on the monthly Ichimoku, it's doing the same thing as well. It's below the baseline again. Let me just pull that up. Yeah. So yeah, it's below the baseline again, but there's still 26 days left in the month, right? But the one thing about it, this is my log scale GAN. It is holding that angle still, so it looks like it's near a low. It really does. Like maybe it'll go down to like 40 or 39 or something again. Who knows? But it looks like it's a series of higher highs, higher lows, right? It really is. Like even this monthly candle closed above this candle, so I can't be in the high time frame. I can't be too bearish on it really because it still looks like it wants to go higher. And plus this bullish cross right here, right? The conversion
Yeah.
line crossed above the
Yeah.
baseline. And the last time that happened, I mean, it kind of was right here.
Yeah.
They kind of
Exactly.
met.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just skyrocketed. So this is not a bearish thing. And you can see once it crossed below there, it was mega bearish, right? The conversion line and baseline. But now we just had the opposite thing. And it did close above last month. It closed above both, right? But then this week or this month it opened below. So it looks like it's just a fake out to me. That's why I can't believe what I'm seeing. I'm like, this looks bearish, but come on now. It looks like there's things that you haven't seen in a long time with ARKK, which makes you feel like it's just a giant trap.
Yeah.
Taking us out.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same, Cat, but that's how I feel about it.
I mean, like, look at Tesla.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, how can you be bearish on ARK if you're bullish on Tesla, right? I mean, does Tesla have potentially some downwards
Yeah.
to go?
And
Yeah.
Coinbase too. Coinbase is in there and
Yeah.
all that mix. But yeah, we see how Shopify is performing. We see like all her other holdings. Roku is underperforming. A lot of them are underperforming right now. So I just think, yeah, maybe they're just trying to find their bottom and that's it.
Yeah, like they just have a lot more speculative stuff they're gonna run like later, like maybe much
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
So I would not be that bearish on ARK because overall, even though it's been a downtrend since like December 2023, it overall trend on the monthly, just like you said, like it's still looks like it's trying to form more higher highs and higher lows than anything.
Yeah,
This,
and
you know,
you can't ignore this conversion line crossing above the baseline either. I think you
yeah,
can't ignore that.
yeah, because that hasn't happened, and you've basically gone sideways for so long
Yeah,
that this is finally happening. And even the 20-month moving average is starting to like really crawl up. If you look at
yeah,
the monthly bull in Japan is squeezing, so maybe it's just some sideways
yeah,
here before it goes up.
yeah.
But
It is
yeah,
happening.
yeah. And if you also just look at like the time before, let's say like around November 2016, you know, you have you have some price action that's going below the 20-month moving average, like underneath of it. Looks like it's like a little bit of resistance, but then things just end up graphening up. So I'm not that concerned about it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, it could be like in this period of time, maybe, and we'll see another exponential gain. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because it looks pretty similar to what Mara's doing, like closing below things, but it looks like it's near a support as well. So
Yeah. I feel okay.
Yeah. I'm still looking for exponential gains in Tesla, into the end of
yes,
the
me
year.
too. Yes, me too. All right, should we continue with Bitfarms? I guess since I had that pulled up.
Yeah, let's talk about a few miners of your choice.
Yeah, this is the log scale chart too, and it did hit the monthly baseline perfectly again. And which coincided with the top of the arc as well.
Yeah.
But it's just in a range, really, like in between the conversion line and baseline, so nothing too exciting yet. So as long as that level holds, then it should just continue within that range. So, and
Yeah.
that range is what, from 214 to 268, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Even on the weekly, it closed above the weekly cloud. So like that's why I bought Bitfarms. That's why I bought CleanSpark is because I'm seeing some things there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it held support at the bottom of the cloud. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. It looks better than Mara, that's for sure.
Yeah, so if I have to add, like Mara might have a little bit more downtrend, but I think like Bitfarms telling me, hey, maybe there are a couple of other stocks that are kind of getting close to where they need to be. And
Yeah. What's another one we should talk about?
up to you. I mean, like usually I talk about CIFR, usually I talk about Irene and Wolf, and then that's it. Like people like HUD, Riot, but
Yeah.
um,
Hut did close at the bottom of the cloud too, by the way. So that looks all right.
yeah,
Let's do a cipher. Yeah. Yeah, right at the 20-week average, just a little bit below. I'll take
yeah,
that off. Yeah, but it still closed below the baseline as well. So it could come back down to the cloud and into the high threes.
yeah. It doesn't have to, but I mean, it can. Anything is
Yeah,
possible.
that is
Um,
true.
yeah, anything's possible, but it's forming a higher low, and I'm trying to find out where the higher low is going to be.
Yeah. I mean, the chart looks really good. The trend is really, really impressive.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
high.
know. I think Evil Mal thinks that this is maybe a distributive top. So, uh,
Well,
Uh,
this could have
yeah.
been a false breakout. Like this got everybody excited, especially me, above this orange level. That's never happened before. And then boom, sorry, just a fake out. That could be, right? Because
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But I
Yeah.
mean, most of the indicators are still good, except for it's just below the conversion on baseline. But the cloud's still green. Everything still looks okay.
Yeah. If you look at the monthly Ichimoku, it tells you a better, like a more clear picture.
I almost feel like if you drew a line from where your arcs start through that last wick, it would line up with the candle that just closed this week on that.
Yeah, maybe. I'll go back to it. But yeah, we'll look at this first. 419 was the baseline. Yeah,
Yeah.
it held there pretty nicely.
Yeah. So maybe it gets back to the baseline potentially, but I feel like it's really just riding up the baseline up. It's not
Yeah.
anything concerning to me. Sorry, Tracker.
Yeah, you were
Oh, no, that's
saying
fine. Yeah,
from the bottom here?
yeah. I think if I want to say, yeah, just draw a trend line there. I feel like if it went all the way back to the beginning
Yeah.
of the,
It does have that like
no,
ascending
I guess it
triangle look
doesn't
to
do
it.
that.
Like it does have that, it does look like ascending triangle. It does look like it had a breakout and just kind of back test the bottom of the triangle. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like to me.
Yeah, there is a trend here.
Yeah.
That is the trend is your friend, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So there is actually confluence with the monthly baseline and with
Yeah.
with the trend line here too. So it does make you wonder whether or not this is it. I'm not saying that this is definitely it, but I don't necessarily think it's just go down to the threes, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That is true. It could hold right here.
It could go to 10. I mean, who knows? Like, but
Yeah.
yeah,
There could be just a bullish engulfing candle next week that goes way up here right now.
yeah, who knows? Yeah, 150. No, but the thing is, like, you're looking at the risk rewards, right? So right now we're at support on the monthly. Right now we're on support on that trend line. What are the downside risks? You're talking about the top of the cloud, and the top of the cloud is going to be around like the threes. So yeah, you might lose another like 10, 20, percent, and that's a shame, but the potential upside because it's an uptrend, and once you're able to break back above the horizontal there, you're really talking about maybe it could hit like 8, 9, 10. That would be your counter, you have to calculate your risk tolerance and what the potential risks and
Yeah.
rewards are, right? So
I mean, these charts, they do whatever they want sometimes. Like when it was right here, I thought, oh, it's all over. Like when it lost this
yeah,
angle, when it lost that cloud, I'm like, oh, it's gonna go collapse now. But it didn't, right? So it just sometimes just has a mind of its own.
yeah, they're minors, they're not mature, they're minors, so that's why
That's
they've,
true.
I don't know.
I feel like there's like two kinds of miners, right? You got the miners that have a lot of Bitcoin, and you got the miners that don't have as much Bitcoin, and they're sort of speculating how much Bitcoin they could possibly mine up in the future if they can get enough hardware online.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are like speculative growth companies. Like they keep diluting to buy machine. They're trying to, be like you know, the higher end of what they can be. And when you have something like this, it's going to be very sensitive to global liquidity. It's basically like a combination of Bitcoin and IWM on steroids. Like
Yeah,
that is,
exactly.
yeah.
Then, versus MicroStrategy, where, Michael Saylor has actually been accumulating Bitcoin. He buys when it's low and you know,
And he
Yeah.
never sells.
but he never sells it. That's right. He never sells it. So MicroStrategy just keeps going up and up and up.
Just
Yeah,
buying back
and
up.
like taking the perspective, just looking at the CIFR chart, like you see where the bottom was, is the bottom was like what, like 50 cents, you know? Like how can people be angry waiting for a whole year around this range? I mean, I don't I don't know. Or like Mara, like the bottom of Mara on the cycle is like $3, right? So how can you be like upset? It's like go back down to 16. Like I don't, it's ranging. I don't, yeah.
It's because people didn't buy at $3. That's why.
Yeah,
They
I know.
didn't want to
Well,
buy it. They thought it would
Well,
go
most people,
lower.
I didn't buy at $3, but like, the thing is, it's all logical, and it's not like if people get really emotional when things stuck in the range, and it's like
Well,
near the
yeah,
bottom of the range.
that's like SMCI. It's logical what that one's doing now too. I guess I can pull it up. Like I started buying a little bit higher, but it's just had a meteoric rise, just super meteoric. And essentially, all it's doing now is retesting levels, especially on the monthly chart. It's just wicking below the baseline, which I think is going to hold. I really do, because it's kind
Holy
of the first
shit.
time since it broke out. But that's why I started buying just because it's just cooling off, right? It had a meteoric rise and it's just cooling off right now.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about mine? Or somebody asked about SoFi if it's going back to $5.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's. I think it's going to negative territory. No, just joking. Just joking. Where's my SoFi chart? There it is. So this is my log scale chart of SoFi. And yeah, the monthly indicators don't look that good on the Ichimoku. It's going below the conversion line again, but again, there's still, oh no, sorry, this is the weekly chart. Yeah, it closed back up below all of the indicators again on the weekly chart, and which I said a long time ago, I think it wants to go to the low sixes or maybe the high fives, and the low sixes would be my angle below. And I think that could be the target this time. I really do. So we'll see. Like maybe even lower to retest these lows down here into the fives. I think the momentum was just a fake out because it just went up to resistance exactly. through the baseline, through to touch the bottom of the cloud, and it wants to retest support.
Also known as a blow off top.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't see $8 getting above $8 anytime soon, really, just because there's lots of resistance up here.
Yeah, I think $8 is going to be a pretty strong resistance. I keep accumulating under 8. Like I have a little bit of a different strategy to it, just because
Yeah.
I see that overall it's just been gravitating around $8. The price has been, really just gravitating around $8 for like 3 years now. And I still see that the range from away from $8 is getting less and less. So if you're looking at this in a way that's like, if you think about it being like an oscillating thing, it's just have less and less volatility around $8. And it looks like it tries to break above $8 for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that easy. But I think once it breaks about $8, like it can run. So anything to me, anything less than 8, I think it's going to be like an opportunity. That's kind of what I see with SoFi. It's a little bit of a different mentality with this because I'm thinking more like longer term, and I have a hard time really seeing like SoFi not doing well if like IWM does well. This looks like the riot chart actually. Like it's not the most bullish chart, but I'm thinking more from like a macro standpoint. I'm thinking more from like a risk reward ratio standpoint that are not like in a trader mentality because it could go down further, sure. If you look at the weekly Bollinger Band, if Matt, if you can pull that up for me, basically I can see it potentially going back down to the low sixes,
Yeah.
and it could be like forming like a little bit of like a double bottom kind of thing. And it might even wick down to, to the angle. I can see that, you know. And that to me, I think that would be a good buying opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't think it's gonna break $8. And I did mention like on like numerous videos, I think $8 is gonna be resistance until proven otherwise. But I'm
Well,
happy to gobble as many shares as I can as long as it's below 8. So
Even if you buy it
well,
at 5 and it decides to test 8 again, made three
well,
bucks.
we can't ignore that I had that bearish cross of the baseline and
you mean
conversion
bullish
line.
cross?
Oh yeah, it was sorry, bullish. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that is a bullish cross. Yeah,
You mean bullish
yeah,
cross? Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
the only thing is, yeah, the
we
only
can't
thing is
ignore that.
resistance. That the both the Tenkan and Kishin are resistance, and that's problematic, But again, it's just basically it's just to show you that it looks like it wants to get back close to it, and price is
Yeah,
going to gravitate towards the Tenkan and Kishin over time.
yeah.
So
That's
I
what I
think,
was
yeah.
getting at. Yeah, because we can't ignore it because it probably wants to get back up there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to break that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that's gonna happen. Like to me, if like this is it's basically a stock that's proven it to us that like you need patience, and whenever it runs, it'll run really really hard, but it's not ready yet. That's kind of my story. And I think the lowest it could hit, I could see it totally go to like the low sixes, like 6.1, 6.2. I can totally see that happening. Does it have to? No, like it doesn't have to do anything that I think it's going to do. Because if anything, like it could form a higher low over here, and it could just keep going up on the weekly. But I do see some support zone even before it touches your angle there, maybe at the lower Bollinger Band on the weekly. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll
this
see.
is stuff like Tesla where it looks like it corrected up from that $4-ish level to the $11-ish level when it went up in an ABC, and now it's consolidating down in 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the 5 could be $6 like that.
Yeah.
There is a lot
Yeah.
of similarities between SoFi and Tesla, actually. I agree with you. Um, because the highs were basically like very close to where Tesla was high. And right now there's a little bit of symmetry too. Like it looks like it's kind of ranging currently, just kind of like how it was ranging back in like 2021. So there's a lot of symmetry.
Let's see. Yeah, there is some down here. Up. Yeah. True.
I wish Trading View would let you just like pull the chart
Yeah, I
wherever you
wish
want.
so too.
I guess you could make a copy of the
The Tesla one. Yeah.
yeah, the test one, then just pull the copy around wherever you wanted. But yeah,
But yeah, and if we go to the weekly chart too, well, let me take off my Ichimoku and Gan. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of mirroring everything. Mirroring.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as nearly as bullish as Tesla, right? Based on a lot of the indicators, it's a laggard. And
Yeah.
because I think that SoFi probably is more on the speculative side because I mean all fintechs basically being destroyed. Is
Yeah.
lagging behind IWM. I think it's probably somewhere between like IWM and ARK. Like that's and ARK and like the ARK F fund also holds SoFi. So like it's all kind of makes sense, you know.
Yeah. And they both hit their lows almost the same time period too. Right?
Yeah,
Or
I
in
really
tandem.
think that they mirror each other very well. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, and I think there's a possibility that they run together.
Yeah. But I like how Tesla went up here and SoFi didn't really go up that high. Yeah. I like so that's why it makes me more bullish on Tesla. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I still buy SoFi every week, but I'm still buying Tesla every week. Like I think Tesla, as long as it's like less than 250, happy to buy. SoFi, as long as it's less than like $8, happy to buy.
Oh yeah.
That's just kind of like that's my strategy because I'm not really trading it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy.
I think yeah, I really think what we're seeing now is just a shakeout of people, of retail,
They're
scaring
shaking the
them,
tree.
shaking the tree. And also I wanted to point out before we sum things up or round things up, I'm going to show the VIX. Um
Well,
it
yeah,
looks
Cantonese
like
Cat had that lovely angle pushing down on the VIX.
I think the monthly Ichimoku is telling a good story of it though. Like it's right at back at the baseline there and got
Oh yeah,
rejected by the
wow.
bottom of the cloud. Yeah. So it looks like we could be at max fear moment around up these levels. Yeah.
Well,
So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my view is I like a lot of charts. There's some that did lose levels like ARKK and Mara and stuff, but still the month is just young. We'll see how the month really closes out. But if it closes out pretty bearish, then I might have to like be a little bit more cautious in the future. But if the month closes out pretty bullish, then it's everything as usual.
everything as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen here real quick. Yeah, it got rejected right off the cloud. There's no doubt about it. But I'm gonna sorry, I'm just gonna share screen here real quick and talk about the Max 7 because everybody's like, freaking out about like earnings, things like that. Just real quick, I'm gonna go talk like Microsoft. These are like monthly charts. This is the blue line's the Tenkan order conversion line. I think there's a strong possibility that it's going to close the month above it. Currently is at around 415, just because how strong the Tenkan is pushing up, And during a bull market, sometimes you can kind of come down a little bit, but usually during a bull market, it just serves as, pretty strong support. Right. So sometimes it even gets like for example, like for COVID, like it touches all the way down to the red, to the baseline or the Kijun, and then it just bounces right above it, right? But during bull market, you can challenge it. You can go down a little bit. You can even touch underneath. You can wick underneath of it. But it's gonna, as long as the thing continues to push up, and as long as it's not being stabbed like multiple times like it did over here in 2022, the trend is still intact, and currently like it's just pointing up pretty strongly. So it's probably gonna end up closing up the month or even like the next month. If it ends up closing it underneath for like a month, I don't really care. Like, usually need confirmation. But I do think that it's probably gonna close the month about like 415. Tesla, we already talked about it. It's still above the Tenkan, so I'm not that worried. Amazon, I think the monthly thing right now is like 172. I have a strong suspicion that it's going to close above it, just because it's like positive sloping. And again, just look at like sometimes you can end up closing underneath of that for, even a few months in a row. But overall in the bull market, you can have sometimes like kind of go like underneath a little bit, but it's still a bull trend, Like I'm not, this is like, there's nothing bearish that I'm seeing. Meta, I was very bullish on Meta, because I think that initially, like back in February, it was just way too far overextended away from the tank. And you remember just a few months ago, like how bullish people are on Meta when their earnings came out, like, oh man, it like blew everything out of water. Everybody's like super bullish. I was like, sideways for months. It went sideways for months, corrected both through time and price. And I think it got close enough to the tanking that I thought that the earnings was going to be okay. And sure enough, like it bounced, right? Google, I was bearish on Google. And and everybody was like, oh, it's like so outperforming. I was bearish on Google. Why was I bearish on Google? It's because it just got way away from the tanking over here, right? You have to correct through price and time, and it looks like it's doing that. So I can't NVIDIA, same thing. It got way above detanking over here. It's just correcting through time and be a little bit through price, right? So I guess I'm not like bearish on the market. If you look at the big tech, they still look like they're doing very well. And I think that, whenever the month close, it looks like they want to close at support. That's what I think. It's only been 2 days. Like this money candle has only been 2 days. So so like there's still, like you said, like 20 something trading days left. So I'm not really that bearish on the market. Adobe actually looks pretty great, by the way. Like there's some like mid-large caps that are actually looking pretty decent. It bounced from the bottom of the cloud, went back up. Initially I thought that the 10K would hold, but no, it just touched the top of the monthly cloud. I'm like, okay, if you want to do that, do it. CRM, same thing. Like it bounced from the bottom of the cloud. It looks like it wants to reclaim the tank and not quite ready yet. But like these stocks, like even AMD, I'm not that bearish on it. It's only been 2 days, and it's like, so far as underneath the tank. And could it come all the way down to the cloud? I mean, anything's possible, but like I just see it potentially just maybe this could also be a wick. I mean, I don't know what the month of August is going to hold. Like if it comes down, yeah, maybe like 112, 113 is possible. But on the weekly, you're also hitting like the weekly cloud over here almost exactly. Like I cannot be that bearish on AMD. Just looking at this. So yeah, Broadcom also another very important stock, right? If it ends up letting me load up here. Yeah. Look, like I cannot be bearish on Broadcom. Like just look at this is a bull market, you know. Anyway, like I think there's a lot of like, people that are spreading fear. Like I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm done.
Yeah, we got 2 hours and 13 minutes, so
Yeah.
I think we're
Longest
good.
show you that yet.
Yeah.
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 And we still got 42 watching. I mean, congrats.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
thanks,
not bad.
guys.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
thanks.
like, I'm sure we can always like talk about altcoin stuff, but I think it's a good spot to end. I just wanted to talk about the Max 7 to like show you because I think that sets the tone of what the market makers are trying to do. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not scary. It just doesn't look scary to me.
Yeah, all I see is a normal backtest of levels currently, but yeah, if that changes within the month, then I'll let people know. But so far, everything is normal.
Yeah.
Thanks. This is
Tracker.
really lovely, guys.
Yeah. Final thoughts for the Tesla tracker.
Just no, just I want to thank you guys for cheering me up today. I was feeling a little low energy, but I laughed more in the last 2 hours than I have all day.
Well,
I
there you go.
know.
We should do this every day.
I feel like
We
because
could.
we normally do it on Tuesday, but
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like all week I was like lacking something to look forward to. So this is great. Do you guys want to do it again on Tuesday? Is that too soon or
no, I think it'd be good, especially with the volatility.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I
it'd
mean,
be
we can
great.
talk a little bit more about like altcoin stuff like that next time too in like a few days. So
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it.
yeah. Yeah. And yes, thank you guys for joining. I can do this all day.
Yeah, me too.
You
Yeah,
guys are
I
the
can
best.
yeah, I can do this all day. And
All right.
it has a very calming effects on me. So
For
Oh,
sure.
lovely.
All right,
All right.
guys.
Well, thanks, guys, and we'll be back on Tuesday night.
sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, y'all take care. 3 more days from now.
Well, you guys too.
All
Bye.
right.